Hello, noble ones. Hello, hello. How are you? How are you? Hey, Valerie. Nethercott. Hello, Cam. Hello. What is the intro music? Is great. It's all music from Golden Axe, PlayStation 2 version, aka this. Non-sponsored, but who cares? That's what it is. Glory to the 90s, my friends. Glory to the 90s. Let me see the chat. Hello, hello everyone on Twitch. Hello Fairby, Daxfile, good to see you. Let's see. Reducing a little bit of music. Yeah, should do it. Yeah, it was great. Genesis, yeah, I played it on the Mega Drive, but same thing. Same difference. You like the 80s better? Ah, the 80s were great. I agree also, HPT, absolutely. Was Napoleon better than Caesar? Not a chance. Alright, alright. Greetings, greetings everyone. So how are we doing? Let me see. How's the health of the stream? Health of the stream, looking good. Yeah. Yeah, looking good, looking good. Okay, okay, so let me move the chat so I can see it more easily. This is going to be a long stream, just so you know. We're going to do a lot of things. We're going to chat, we're going to read Q&A, we're going to watch a bunch of videos, got some tabs open, good reacts, including Kings in general. Although then again, of course, you also will get the cut version with some edited stuff and edited sources and added stuff as a full-on video, standalone, separately. Probably in the next, I want to say, couple of days, just time to edit it out. But if you like watching it live, that's going to happen today. We're going to play some games. I am going to, today is Daggerfall day, just so you know. Today I'm playing Daggerfall. Probably do it later on the stream, towards the later end of the stream. So, Francesco asks, Metatron, dove andavi al liceo? He wants to know what high school I used to attend when I was in Palermo. At first I did a couple of years at the Artistico, Eustachio Catalano, but then I changed into a Linguistico, which was Lincoln, I think. It's been a lot of years. I don't even know if it exists anymore, but yeah, Linguistico. Prima Artistico, poi Linguistico. That's what I did. Yeah. Let's see. Saints Nicholas, we're good to hear. If you have any more questions about, I think you're talking about when you were asking me for advice on how to, maybe was it run channels or something like that. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Not that I'm like the ultimate authority or anything, but basic stuff when it comes to content production strategy and having to deal with the algorithm, I suppose. Kind of in connection to what we were talking about today, right? With the video. I don't know if you guys watched it or not, but LPA Brick Films asks, say, where would you recommend buying quality Lorica segmentata? I will show you. I'll show you right now. Just let me double check a couple more comments here on Twitch as well. Half Soul is such a great game. I agree, Mercy. I'm having a great time. I'm having a time of my life. That game is great. We might play a little bit of that as well in the next few days. Not today, because I posted like 3 times in a row. Maybe I need to kind of give space to other games. Hey, Baron, good to have you here. Oh, everything is fine. Thank you. Good day today. It's a great day today. Let's see. Moshelemkin says, hey, Metatron Germany, thanks for going live early so I could catch it. Ah, my pleasure. Sorry for not being live. If you guys noticed, I kind of stopped live streaming. Last time I live streamed was on Thursday, because for those of you who follow me on Twitch, sometimes on my gaming channel, I tended to stream almost every night. But unfortunately, on Friday night, I had a terrible migraine, and so I thought, you know what, I need a few days off. So I took a few days off. I still posted on the channels because I had back catalog. That's why I film a lot, so that if something like that happens, I can take a couple of days off and still maintain upload schedule. But with live stream, you can't pre-record live streams, can you? So I needed to take a few days off because of the headache. But everything is fine. So today we're here live streaming, and we're going to start live streaming again regularly in the evenings with all our gaming stuff. It's going to be good. Let's see. Daryl asks, what's your expertise? Well, expertise from a professional perspective, then language learning would be, and teaching languages would be my expertise. As a matter of fact, I've been writing a book on that. Should be published, I want to say maybe in a month or so, getting everything finished up. And then after I publish that one, which was the easiest one to put together, we're going to make more books. This year, 2025 is going to be book year. Surprise book drop, yeah. Surprise book drop it is. I just didn't want to promise without having put in work. But now I put in a lot of work in it. I've been writing it quietly, and I'm like, yeah, this is happening. So so that's going to happen soon. Of course, you'll get an announcement and all that, and then I probably won't shut up about it mostly on the second channel since it's language related. And so there's that. Ego sum Magnus Pugnator. Sounds good. I do like German, Teutonic Order, I do. I think it's a cool language. Sounds really cool. Are you going to do an audiobook? Possibly, yeah. Because I heard it's good to have multiple formats. So for every book that I will post, that I will publish in the near future and going into the future, whether it be like choose your own adventure books without that copyrighted title, but I'll make a few of those, fantasy, maybe even one in ancient Rome, so that someone can like learn history, because of course we're going to do it heavily historically accurate, but it's your own adventure, so it's easier to remember the stuff because you're living through it. That's the idea. We're going to publish a few of those, but yeah, so we will have everything in ebook format, soft paper, softback, hardcover, Kindle, like as many formats as possible in order to give people choices. And so possibly even audiobooks. Yeah, I'll have to see the costs of that, but it shouldn't be a problem. So I found out the Games Workshop officially relaunched the Old World. Yeah, I know. There were a couple of choices I didn't really like. Thank you, Andre Bellettini, for subscribing with Prime on Twitch. Very much appreciated. Welcome then. Yeah, I'm aware that there is a way to combine YouTube and Twitch chat. I still haven't downloaded that plugin DAX file. Eventually I'll get around to it. Yeah. Dope Boy says, Welsh language is the best language, not biased at all. To me, it's not the best language, but I think it's a pretty cool language with the Celtic roots and whatnot. It is fascinating. I only know Boreda, Sithdahi. I think that's what I know in Welsh. Boreda. But yeah, I think it should be like, good morning, how are you? Something like that. If I'm not wrong, well, you'll tell me if I'm wrong. All right, let's answer that question. Where can you get a really good Lorica segmentata? Let me show you, my friend. I will show you right now. That's where I get all of mine. And so there we go. So let me close everything else. Nothing personal here. Okay. All right, let me show you. Okay, so this is where I get my armor and shields. And everything really, even the Subarmalis or Thorakomachus. It's called Fabrica Cacti. You can find it on Facebook. They're based in Poland. They make fantastic replicas. As you can see, you can get the udones, the socks, woolen socks. They The armor is fantastic. It's not even that... Ooh, is that me? That is me. A few words from Metatron about us. Oh, look at that. Haha. Cool. Well, there you go. So yeah, they do splendid work. So I always recommend them. Look at that. You can get your Caligae. You can get your... Look at this. Gorgeous. Man, this is armor from... Isn't it? Literally. And you can pretty much order your entire set. I don't think they make helmets just yet. But you can order your entire set from them. You can get the pilum. You can get your armor. You can get your... Look at the shields. And this is mine, by the way. You see the blue here? Let me click it. That's actually mine. So yeah, Fabrica Cacti, absolutely fantastic maker. And it's also affordable. I don't use the word cheap on purpose, because usually when you hear the word cheap, you think, oh, so it's low quality. No, this is affordable in the sense that the quality is phenomenal. But it's affordable. You don't have to do like a freaking loan like you would if you wanted to reenact the 15th or 16th century. So yeah, that's highly recommended. Fabrica Cacti, incredible work, fantastic armor. Send them your measurements. Just as long as you do your measurements correctly, then they will do a very, very good job. And that's what I recommend. They are really, really good. Let me close it so I don't have too many things open. There you go. And so that was to answer that question. And let me make sure I've got... There we go. So let's see. For a longsword, Carlo, either I would buy an Albion. I love Albion. Or if you're based in Europe, then you could buy it from Elgur. 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 Yeah, Elgur Sword Makery. He's pretty good. That's where my sword, the one I used to have, was. So... Hello from Poland. Hey, Marek. Jerry or Gary Bolger. Jerry, I guess. I'm fluent in Irish and it warms my heart that the language is growing again. Absolutely. This is fascinating. Better luck next 800 years, Brits. Yeah, hey, some super chats. Okay, so Ink Penification, thank you for the $10. Hi, Metatron, let me know when you are going to react to this video. Arberesh language can Sicilian and Albanian. Ooh, we are doing that today. Let me tell you that much. Yeah, we're doing that today. I'm putting it here. I'm opening a tab. So we can do that for Metatron's Academy. I was going to look for a video to react to for Metatron's Academy. We're going to do that today. Albanian, Sicilian, Arberesh. There is a triple one. But let's do the base. Are you talking about the one from Ecolinguist or the one from Behador Alast? Let me know. Unless you already told me and I just didn't see it. Let me see. Oh, Arberesh. Okay, yeah. No, yeah, featuring Arberesh. Well, I'm sure you'll let me know. Well, we could do both. None of your business. Thank you for the donation. A big wave from Malta. Hey, neighbors. That's the neighbors, isn't it? Tolkien and Metatron are my two favorite linguists. Abdullah Al-Bahar, thank you for the donation. Thank you very much for your effort. Keep it up. I will. Thank you so much for your support. Very much appreciated. And JD, thank you for the $5. Making a bolognese but substituted onion for shallot. Will I be thrown from the Tarpeian rock? Probably not. Shallot, I guess. I mean, I'm not a culinary expert to that degree. Probably shallot are fine. Okay, let me make sure that I didn't skip any super chats. No, I think that's all. So good stuff. Oh yeah, Juan and Miguel. Okay, so Miguel says, it's faith compatible with critical thinking. Absolutely. Absolutely, because the idea, I think, in my opinion at least, the idea is that you use critical thinking all the way up to that line that then you've got to use faith to cross if you want to. So, because they are used for different things. It's like the idea of are science and faith compatible. I absolutely think they can be. I'm very much pro-science. I love the academic approach and everything, the scientific approach. It's fantastic. But then again, I don't use science to explain faith, and therefore I don't use faith to explain science either. I don't operate my computer. I wouldn't build a computer with faith, but at the same time, I wouldn't use science to try and discuss God-related matters. But that's just me. I think they're just used for different things. Juan Cholo, thank you for the donation. Have you heard the Miracle Aligner singing Everybody Wants to Rule the World covering classical Latin? No, I haven't. I'll have to check it out, but I can't do it during the stream or I get copy claimed probably. Horseman, thank you for the donation. What are good books to read to get an overview of the history of Rome in the Middle Ages for someone with little knowledge on those histories? Can't think of a book right now. Like, I've got loads of books. They're in my other room though, and I'll have to think. I'll think about it if I can think of something like a single book with a title. I mean, I can't pronounce that name. Graham Turner is really good for Roman stuff. Graham Turner. He's got military clothing of the Roman Empire, something. Military clothing of Rome. It's a very, very good book. I would strongly recommend it. I read the whole thing, dissected it. Yeah, Ink Benefication, thank you. Ecolinguist, but either one is fun, okay? Also, what's your favorite taiga drama, Japanese historical drama? Gosh, Japanese historical drama? In general, any samurai old classics I would like, to be honest. Wow, The Killing Duck, thank you for gifting 20 Metatron memberships, man. Well, I'm glad you did that. Thank you so much. And the reason why I'm saying that is because today I'm posting on members once I'm finished with the... So yeah, the people that got the membership right now, you will find a video later on today. Very much appreciated. Oh, I return to live chat. And on Twitch. Hello, Titan Bro. Imagine a faith-based computer. Yeah, good luck with that. Hey, Rafa, have you heard of Italian, a coine of Italian dialects, both in southern Brazil? Okay, yes, I've heard of it, but I've never listened to it, and I don't know if I could understand it. That's another thing we should check. Let me open a tab about it. Italian, Brazil, Italian language. Yep, found it. Okay, we'll check it out. Man, we've got a few things to check out today. What a day. Are you streaming this on X? No, I haven't tried streaming on X, and to be honest, I'm not planning to right now because I'm already running 4 different channels on YouTube, plus Twitch, plus the live streams. I don't need to extend it. Like, I'm not gonna do, let's do Facebook streaming on Facebook streaming. I understand multi-stream is effortless right now, but it's just even the setup. Having to deal with that right now, I'm not particularly interested. Maybe we will at one point if there is a way to easily multi-stream on X, probably with OBS. I guess, why not, if it's multi-streaming. Sir, do you have any tips to get subscribers? Your teaching is helping me get views, but I am not getting many subs. How is your average watch time? That's one thing I would ask. Maybe try to increase that, work on your average watch time. And then, as always, consistency. Post as consistently as possible. So if you can do daily, do daily. If daily is too much and you resort to twice a week, I wouldn't recommend it. But if that's what you're doing, at least do same days. Like, you could do Wednesday and Saturday, or Tuesday and Friday, or whatever, but always stick to the same so that people get used to a routine, and maybe that would help. And then at the end of the day, it's your personality that will let people stay and choose to subscribe. So it kind of depends also on the type of content you're choosing, what niche you're working on. Cornelius says, why do people understand fascism so wrong? Well, one is because they didn't study the original fascism, because I would say that to understand fascism, you've got to study the 20th century deeply. And the second thing probably is because today the word fascist has been overused, just like the word Nazi, just like the word racist has been overused. And therefore, if now you tell me that this is a typical instance of fascism, then yes, people are going to misunderstand what that word means, because it isn't, right? There's no combination. Just like it's similar to also the word woke being overused, whereby now everything starts to become woke even when it's not, when it is. I'll say call it out. You know me. But when it's not and people call it woke, then it's annoying. And then the word is diluted. It's a similar situation when you were like in the 90s. If I had heard as a 19-year-old, as a 17-year-old, if you told me, oh, you know that guy? He's a racist. I would have been like, ooh, really? What did he do? What did he do? Like, I would have taken it very seriously. Now, if I hear someone pointing the finger and saying, oh, that YouTuber is a racist, I just roll my eyes. And that tells you that the words have been diluted to a point of being useless now. That's what I think. Yeah, I agree, Murph. Absolutely. The word lost completely any definition. So, yeah. Will you continue Morrowind sometime? Yeah, absolutely, but I'll restart it, I think, because one of you left a comment on my... You remember how I was struggling on the Protectorate to try, because the UI was too small and I couldn't read, so I couldn't find the missions, because it was the quests, because it was like, I'm not dealing with this. Well, a reader said that that's because I put the resolution too high, so I'm going to try and put a lower resolution, which at the end of the day doesn't matter, because I'm playing it for nostalgia, so I'm fine with a low resolution, low res, low poly, low res. It's my stick. It's my stuff. So I'll try that, and that should fix it. So if that fixes it, then I would say let's start a new adventure on Morrowind and do like a long live stream where I put a few hours in it. But before I do that, I wanna play some Daggerfall, which we will today. Yeah. Good evening, King Homeschool. Good to have you here. Thank you, Raphael, for the donation. Hey, Metatron, here's a suggestion for a great video to rage to. Disturbing facts about ancient Japan. Ooh, that sounds like someone got offended. So I'm definitely writing it down as an option. Perhaps offline, but sure. Thank you for gifting 5 more memberships to Killing Duck. You're killing it. You are literally killing it, mate. Thank you for all the support. Man, what a stream. Horseman, thank you for the donation. A curated list of books to read for the history of Rome, medieval ages, etc. would be a huge benefit to the... You know what? That, Horseman, would be a very nice vanilla-based video that I would love to do as a way to help people find excellent books, whether it be feudal Japan, whether it be the medieval period, Rome, and all of that, the Norse. I think I should do that. Of course, it's going to cap at 50. No, not even that. It's probably going to cap at 10,000 views. But hey, thank you, ST St. Michael 1976. Love your content, brother. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm just double checking to make sure that I'm not skipping things. Yeah, I'm not skipping things. Everything is good. Have you played Expeditions of Rome? Not yet, Chris, but I do own it. Someone gifted it to me, so I'll have to try it. I'll absolutely have to try it. Let's see. Treadbull on Twitch says, good evening to you. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to have a great time. St. Michael 1976, thank you so much for subscribing with Prime on Twitch. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for using your Amazon Prime. Have you played Daggerfall before? Not back in the day. It's the one, like I started with Morrowind. Probably because I didn't have a computer anyway, so I started with Morrowind when it was released for the original Xbox. Because the only computer I had was Amiga. And then eventually it did have an MS-DOS, a Windows-based computer, but I don't know why I didn't have Daggerfall. Anyways, I tried it the other day on Good Old Games, because it's free, by the way. If any of you, if you're thinking, oh, I wish I could play an old school Elder Scrolls, but I don't know if I have the money right now, it's free. You can download it for free on Good Old Games. So I downloaded it, and I tried it a little bit at the beginning, and I thought it was awesome. Awesome. I was amazed. I'm like, man, this is good. So today we're playing it. I can't wait. I still haven't finished the tutorial because I'm like, you know what? I'll play it live. It's going to be a lot more fun. Thank you, Bombolanzo, for subscribing with Prime. Thank you so much. The Unity one? Nope. I'm going old school, my friend. Not Unity. I want to play it as it was back in the day. As it was back in the day. The Killing Duck, thank you for gifting 5 more memberships. Man, you're on fire. You gifted like 20 members. I'm going to have to make more members content then. I've got to do that. I've got to do that. Let's see. There is a Brazilian channel called Brasão de Armas by Tiago Braga about ancient and medieval weapons and history. You should make something together. But does he speak English or does he speak Portuguese on his channel? I copy-pasted it on my notes. So something I can check out later. Live chat again. How is going, Metatron? This is my first stream watching. Thank you, Isaac. Everything is fantastic. Great day today. And I had Subway, by the way, for lunch. Was fine. And yeah, it's good to have you here. Saint Sir Nicholas says, Metatron, sir, thank you to answer your questions. I am a Warhammer Fantasy YouTuber and my average watch time is 2 minutes. Yeah, you need to increase that 100%. I'm writing down to check your channel later because I love Warhammer Fantasy. In fact, what's your channel called? Saint Nicholas? Is it called Saint Nicholas or is it a separate account? I love Warhammer Fantasy. I've got like 9 armies, by the way, all painted. All painted. You should react to Family Guy speaking Italian. I think it's going to get the stream copy claimed. Yeah, Subway's good. Subway's good. I prefer Jersey Mike's, but there are those days, like I think it's objectively better. But there are those days when I'm like, yeah, but today I want Subway. Do you ever get that? I do. Rarely, but it does happen. And today was one of those days also because Jersey Mike's was further away. So from where we were with my wife, we're driving around doing some returns and some stuff. So post office and whatnot. And then there was a Subway nearby. And I'm like, you know what? I'd like a BMT or something. So we did that with Chipotle. Chipotle's mayo. Great. The Killing Dust says, all right, that's enough. Just wanted to get more membership content. Oh, you will. You absolutely will. So the first thing I'll post it today, is I'm going to post this. You know how I reacted to History Hit historian talking about the king? I had to shave and cut off so much in order to remove the copyright claim. So I also have an integral, like uncut version where you actually see the scenes, you see the battle, the commentary is better. That version will be posted, I'll call it like raw, and it will be posted on members. And I'll make this into a thing because even the Pompeii one that I recently released, I had to cut off every section where they showed the movie and she was talking. And so even the parts where I was reacting to that and was responding, even if it was interesting commentary, I had to remove for copy claims. But the integral raw version, even if it gets copy claimed at that point, I don't care because it's for members, those will always be posted in their entirety. And sometimes you'll get like 7, 8, 9 extra minutes of content that is entire commentary with like interesting analysis of maybe we see the battle, the fight. Instead, in the version on YouTube, I had to put a screenshot, whereas in the raw version you'll actually see the moving picture from the film. So that's happening. So today I'll post one, but I'll make, of course, more content for members, and then members and Patreon gets mirrored. Yeah, I saw that there was a History Hit video on Assassin's Creed. Oh, I didn't see that it was on History Hit. Well, they're gonna praise it anyways. They're not gonna say anything, I don't think. I like it more. Like, I don't like it when people also blatantly attack it the entire time without even finding any area. Like, I can be annoyed by certain choices, which I was. I mean, I made videos about it, but I can also at the same time praise things that I like. Like, I saw this guy, I was watching Asmongold react to someone else, and this someone else is a Japanese creator, and I think he is absolutely in the right to say that he didn't like certain choices when it comes to the representation of his own history and culture. Absolutely legit, fair. But then this guy sometimes pushed it a bit too much, and he was like, this armor looks horrible. And I was looking at the armor and I was like, no, I think the armor looks fine, actually. So sometimes we do get into, and it happens to me as well. I'm not even judging. I'm just saying, I think when I will do a react to the final game, I will try to be, fair. So there will be things that I will say, this is nonsense. Here they're pushing politics. This is not how it was. This is not historically accurate. You know me, I'll do it. I don't care about the backlash. With that being said, if there is something that can be praised, it should be praised. Because remember, even if there is, say, there are a couple of suits behind any gaming production. Look at, for example, Dragon Age Failguard. When you've got suits that are pushing things, okay, but the artists usually it's not their fault. Maybe a programmer and they programmed and the animations are fluid. Well, that guy, it's not his fault, so I can praise his work, even if I don't like certain aspects of it that have to do with the usual stuff that we complain about, or maybe historical accuracy if it's a game strongly based on historical accuracy. I can still appreciate the graphics. I can still appreciate if the ambience is good, if the music is good. I mean, the music is not good with Shadows. I hope they change that and they remove that freaking rap music, which was so immersion killing. But I'm still holding up hope for both Shadows and KCD2. I'm hoping that, I don't know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Did you ever live in Britain? Yes, I did. That's what I picked up in my English jukebox. Yeah, as a teenager, I used to live in the UK. Yeah, so my accent is a bit of a mix. Is a mix. Like, you can tell I'm not a native speaker, but at the same time, I think you can tell where I picked it up, because it's a little bit of a mix. Like I think the single pronunciation of words is similar to the way English people do, depending on the area, pronounce them. Well, there we go. I just broke my English right there. But when I put words together into a sentence, then the intonation is off, if I had to self-assess myself. And you can tell, yeah, but this guy is not native. That's how I would self-assess myself when I speak English. Thank you, Andre Bellettini, gifting 5 memberships on Twitch. Very much appreciated. Man, today's what is it today? Today's gifting day. Thank you so much for the support, guys. You're amazing. Subway's good, pricey up north though, is it? I think Jersey Mike's is a bit more expensive than Subway, but it's worth it. Have you ever tried Vote Shall? Jersey Mike's is phenomenal. Like, I love it. It's my favorite sandwich place in the US. It's Jersey Mike's. So good. But I'm also into smash burgers. My wife and I got a little obsessed over those. Thank you. Yes, I already thanked that. Thank you. I'm just making sure I didn't skip anyone. Yep. Thank you, Baron, for mentioning the official Metatron Discord for people to join. Absolutely. If you want, you can mention it on... Baron is more effective than me at promoting my own things, but you can do it on YouTube if you want as well. V Quisty, thank you for subscribing on Twitch. Appreciate it. I'm gonna go back to going live on Twitch every night, almost, except maybe for Saturdays and Sundays. I'd like to take those off, but 5 times a week I think is pretty decent. Plus the average of the afternoon like this. Chris, thank you. Have you played Expeditions of Rome? Yes, I did. I mean, no, I didn't. I've already responded to that, but I'll respond again. Why not? It's good stuff. Let's respond twice. But the Yankees understand you when you use UK slang or phrases. I think they do, because at the end of the day, I think I don't really use too much slang, do I? I mean, sure, I will say boot, I guess. Once I said, put it in the boot to my father-in-law, he was like, the boot? And then because they say trunk here, but I will switch. Depends. Sometimes I'll switch. I'll just say trunk. Other times, if I don't think, I'll say boot and bonnet. If I think, I'll say trunk and hood. I do say blinkers, though. I almost never say indicators, but I guess I could. It's not a big deal. So, in it, Jerry. So I suppose I still do use that sort of, but I think it's just, I mean, American people watch like 007, so I suppose they are used to the terminology. Yeah. It is boot, says William. It is trunk, says St. Nicholas. Yeah, I mean, sure, whatever. I don't have a horse in the race. I'm Italian anyways, so English is not my first language. So I'll just say whatever the heck. If you tell me it's boot, I'll say yeah. And if you tell me it's trunk, I'll say yeah. Whatever you want. I will play Bannerlord. It's just that I have so many games to play, Alexander, that it's just one of those things. But I mean, if Alexander the Great himself asks me to play that game, how can I say no? I mean, the guy did fight firsthand. First of the line, tip of the spear, top of the line. Thank you, The Killing Dub, for the support. Do you get money from these new subs? Oh, yeah, of course. Yes, yes. Because you did the subscriptions, I will get revenue from it, 100%. This year, in fact, not this year, this month. Very much, because we're still within January, so it will add it onto the January revenue. Very much appreciated, in fact. January has been horrible, by the way. It's been the worst month ever. January tends to be. So as a content creator, if you are struggling with views, you see your revenue go down, or maybe you're still you're not monetized, but you see the views, gray arrows, that's normal in January. It happens all the time. I had a decrease in about 50% of revenue, and view-wise, maybe 45%, if not more. But in theory, in February, everything should start going up again. It's just that January is the worst month of the year. And it's just something that we YouTubers prepare for, and content creators. We know it's going to happen. So that's why, like, in December, I try to, like, push it because you want to kind of compensate, right? So yeah, saying Nicholas, you were saying your average watch time is 2 minutes. You absolutely need to increase it. A way to increase it is to actually make the videos longer. Believe it or not, that helps. So if your videos are like, I don't know, 5 minutes long, then you might want to increase that, make them longer. Well, in general, videos should be longer than 8 minutes anyways, if you want to get more ads for when you monetize. You usually don't want to go shorter than 8 minutes if you are doing it for also, for a way to pay your bills. If you're only doing it as a passion project, then absolutely do whatever you want. Then at that point, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Whatever makes you happy. I love how someone called the random person randomly got gifted subs. Absolutely. Duck. Can I call you Duck? Absolutely, Duck. Metatron 8 fresh. Yep. Yeah. My channel is Saint Sir Nicholas. I call it High and Wood Elves. Ooh. High Elves are my favorite. High Elves are my main. And then my second army is Bretonia. So, and my third army is Dark Elves. I do not have a Wood Elf army, but I would love to have one because I love elves. So it is what it is, I suppose. Elf supremacists. All right, let's have a look at this channel. So Saint Sir Nicholas, look at that. 34 videos. Yeah, so it's normal, Usually success on average happens on video 100. So you want to keep posting, keep it up. Make a trailer video. Absolutely, you should make a trailer video so that someone comes in for the first time. I'll subscribe. Someone comes in for the first time, they will get hit by your trailer. Do not make shorts at all. Never make shorts. Shorts will kill your channel. And instead, yeah, do this. Like make let me see, you post 5 hours, 1 day, 2 days. Oh yeah, you post a lot. That's great. Keep that one up. Absolutely keep this up. Keep posting. Maybe you might need to start making some thumbnails, but in general, I think you're doing great. Absolutely keep it up. And anyone who is into Warhammer Fantasy, you should totally subscribe to him. He's cool. Very nice. And thank you for your support. Saint Sir Nicholas it is. Cool stuff. And all the best of luck for your channel, mate. Let's see. Oh, you did already, Baron. Of course you did. You're like, you're a step ahead. You're a step ahead. Let's see. Let's see. And you say your videos are often 20, 40 minutes. Okay, they are very long. Yeah, you probably, if they're already long, then I wonder why you're only getting a 2 minutes watch time. Maybe you need to make it quicker with the editing pace. That's a possibility. I'll check out a few of the videos offline and I'll see if I can leave you a comment with some advice. How about that? Veilguard was horrible though. Veilguard was, man, what a betrayal of the fans. You know why I say that? Because I am a fan of Dragon Age. I've been playing since Origins. I played Dragon Age Origins. Already Dragon Age 2 was like meh. Inquisition looked alright, but not as good as Origins. But nothing can be as good as Origins. That's my firm belief. Unless they should do an Origins remake No politics, just make the game as is, make it for the fans, give them a high degree of customizability so that everyone can be happy, right? I don't have anything against that. You can create your character however you want. That's fine. But I would do that when it comes to making it a bit more modern. But apart from that, I think that's what they should do. What about Gabagol? I don't know. Maybe that's like capacuolo, the Neapolitan word for a type of cold meat. I think it's the Italian American version of that because that's the closest. I can't think of any standard Italian word like that. But capacuolo, how do they say it in standard Italian? I haven't got a clue. I only know it in Neapolitan. Grazie Gregorio Gariglio. I appreciate your support. I never, don't worry about it. I'll keep posting even if my videos get 500 views a video. I will never stop posting Noble Ones. I can tell you that much. It's just that at that point I'll have to figure something out, money wise. But you know, passion wise, I'll never stop. Damien 247 Metatron, any plans of playing Skyrim on PC to utilize the overpower combination animation mods? Oh yeah, I play it on my Metatron Protector. I have an 8 hours and 30 minutes video, 8 hours and 30 minutes video on me playing Skyrim and doing the entirety of the Imperial quest with historically accurate Roman gear. Is it safe to say, asks Lispy, that pizza is a Mediterranean food? No, I think pizza is just Italian. I mean, it is also Mediterranean, but simply because, you know, it's in Italy. But I would say maybe in its origins, we could say yes, if we want to look at historical origins. But from a modern perspective, I'd say pizza is just Italian food. And then, of course, you have the Italian-American variety, the American-American variety, and all the other different versions. Like, I know that they say the pizza in Brazil, pizza in Argentina, they say it's pretty good. I've never tried it, but I have no reason not to believe it. Pizza in Japan is actually very good. They're really good at imitating other people and other cultures. They're really good at doing that, the Japanese. And if I got to say, if I had to put every single non-Italian together from the planet, the Japanese are the best ones at making pizza the Italian way. That doesn't mean that I don't like pizza in the American way. I'm fine with it. It's just it's a different approach. It's its own thing. That's how I would classify American pizza. Dave Ross says, you have spoken, thank you for the donation, you have spoken of different versions, dialects, eras of Latin. Which one is the one used for all the prefixes and suffixes used in law, medicines, and science in general? I think we connect to medieval Latin a lot, but even to classical Latin. But there is a lot of Latin neologisms that are actually modern. Like actually modern. When it comes to law, I would say a lot of the legal stuff is still connected to Roman law and the legal system. But for medicine, once again, a lot of it is connected to classical Latin and medieval Latin. Kind of depends. It's a word-by-word case, and I don't have percentages at hand right now. But yeah. Motocross, thank you for the donation. Metron, if you're ever in Utah, you have to go get lunch at a sandwich shop called The Italian Place. We've got the best hot sandwiches. Ooh, that's nice. I'm taking a note. Thank you for that. I've got friends over in Utah, so I should totally do that. Marley Borough asks, I had long hair for a few years. It really annoyed me the whole time. How do you put up with it? Oh gosh, I've had it for so many years that it's just routine for me now. It just exists. Doesn't bother me though. It really doesn't. Most of the time I keep it in a bun, low bun, most of the time. When I'm live, it's always down, but when I film, it's usually down because that's just the image of the channel now. But in my home or when I go out, it's always in a bun, I suppose. But yeah. If I play Total War 2, you mean Rome Total War 2? Which Total War? Daniel says, your video, thank you for the donation, your video KCD2 did not dive deep down on the black character as royal court in medieval Bohemia. There's no single black. Well, I know, but it's because I want to give them. And you say back then, and Europeans and racial nationalists wouldn't tolerate him. No, I understand. It's just that I want to see the game. Like, I want to know more before I deep dive into, because I am planning on making several videos on KCD2, as imagine you expect, because on KCD1 I made like 5-6 videos, hence I will make many. That one was just a very introductory thing to gauge and see the situation. Will it get views if I speak about KCD2? It did average, so it didn't do great, but I will, if I have hands on the game, it will be better. 100%. But I will, of course, make deep dive into the historical and see if we can find with the team some evidence that could, back up the idea of the black character or not. Because again, as you know, if it's historically coherent, I don't have a problem with it. You know me when it comes to that. But if it's historically incoherent, I'll say it. But I do need time to go dive with it, with the team, and actually do that. But I do know that was never supposed to be a comprehensive analysis. That one will come later. Horseman, Metatron, are you a fan of samurai films? Absolutely. Kurosawa, 100%. Kurosawa Akira. Spectacular. A little slow, I guess, for people now. But yeah, I love those movies. Used to watch them when I was a university student and I was practicing my Japanese a little bit. With that and with anime, of course. Let's see how are things on Twitch. Pineapple on pizza is the best. Titan Bro is gonna be blocked. I'm joking. PNW Forest Faye. Wow, well, that is a cool name. And thank you for subscribing with Prime. You won't regret it. We'll go live a lot. We'll play a lot of games. We're gonna go into a lot of games. By the way, I'm gonna replay the original KCD one of these days. How you doing, bro? Asks Daxfile. Oh, because he's talking to Wixie. Yeah, but to me as well. I guess we can all say, well, we can all say, how you doing? Hi from Poland. Hey, Wiskuski. There we go. That's the message. Good day, Metatron. Good day, Winter Suns. Winter Suns. Yeah, Morrowind is great. Archmagos. Morrowind was such a good game. Just double checking the older messages as well. Let's see. Titan Bro says, I don't think Yasuke should be the main character because he's a historical figure, and Ubisoft historically has consistently handled playable historical characters poorly, in my opinion. Yeah, I think I would have put Yasuke as a secondary channel character, like someone you can choose. But I think it's fine that people wanted to play a Japanese samurai. I wanted to play a Japanese samurai myself. I think it would have been nice if you had the choice of you can play as a Japanese samurai and then you see the game from the perspective of a native from the local culture, or you can either choose to play as Yasuke or play some levels as Yasuke. It's not that I would have removed Yasuke as a fascinating figure of history. I have nothing against him, and the people that say he was just a slave, they're just being what's the word? Fastidious? I don't know the word, but they're just being like that because they're pissed by the DI. I get it, but let's also be fair. Because I think Yasuke is an interesting character, and he certainly wasn't just a slave. I mean, historical accuracy is what we want. Let's tell the stuff for how it was. He had a position of honor because he was carrying the weapons of the most important man in the entirety of Japan, or at least that area. So, no, he wasn't just a guy. With that being said, I do dislike the fact that he's the main playable character. And yes, you can play as the female shinobi, but it would have been cool to play as a Japanese samurai. So I think what they should have done is give people a choice. Give me a Japanese samurai. Give me Yasuke so I can have the contrast of ooh, I can experience. It could be great for if you want to do a second playthrough, I'll do a Yasuke playthrough, but then I'll do a whatever the heck the name of the Japanese guy would have been. I think that would have been a much better game. Facetious. Man, I can't pronounce it. Facetious. I can't pronounce it. That's the word, but I don't know how to pronounce it. I mean, NPC, sure, but I also think, it's because there are some people I think that genuinely like the idea of playing as Yasuke. Give them an option. It doesn't have to be relegated to NPC. I think it could have been fun. Don't dress him up in samurai armor. Don't make him fight like a samurai, since there is no historical proof whatsoever that he knew how to do that. But the character is real, and it could have been fun to give him as an option. Facetious. Thank you for that. Thank you for teaching me. Appreciate that. Facetious. Man, what a word. So yeah, no, I'm not against the idea of adding Yasuke. I just think they shouldn't have removed the option of a Japanese samurai. That would have been awesome. That would have been great. And it's fine that the Japanese people don't like that, and it's absurd to accuse them of racism, because if they were racist, they would have complained about the Afro Samurai, which is a very popular anime instead. It's just that Ubisoft took the position of, oh no, you can learn history by playing this game. Really? You're going to do that? Well, then backlash it is, particularly from the Japanese. And it's fair. It's fair. Sure, there will be like maybe every 100 Japanese people, there might, I'm just saying a number, but imagine that in 100 people complaining about it, maybe there is one who is an actual racist and is using it as okay, but that doesn't mean that everyone now. No, it's their history, it's their culture. They have a right to speak about it and not like what a Western company is doing in the way they're representing it. It's absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. And of course, the one single racist occasionally that is an actual racist, of course, that's frowned upon that 100%. Yeah, they even had the PS2 game Afro Samurai. I remember that. Oh gosh, man, that's nostalgic. I remember that. That's a very cool choice, Heather, for your daughter. And you have a also name. I love your name. Heather is a name I really like. As a good matter, should ask, what games would you want to see that don't exist? Sure, absolutely. We need new developers, skilled developers. 100%. It's a great career choice, I think. Support character, exactly. Intrani too. So it's not like I want him out, but support character makes a lot more sense. Grace asks, how long do you think it will take to uncover 100% of Pompeii? Every day on my news feed I read about a new discovery. Too long unless the Americans do it, because Italians are terrible at putting money into stuff like that. Unfortunately. So it's usually the Americans that come and dig and do great discoveries in Italy. But yeah, it really depends on budget allocation. It is what it is. But yeah, Pompeii is a fascinating case study, isn't it? Fascinating. Yeah, Saint Sir Nicholas says, your idea reminds me of Baldur's Gate 3, where you can be one of the characters or your own guy. That too. That is also a cool thing when you can choose. Maybe that's what they should have done with KCD 2. What they could have done is that they could have... It's just that I understand it's easier said than done, because it would require a lot more development. But it's not like they like the budget. Particularly, I think they've been bought, haven't they, by a bigger company. So I'm sure the money is not a problem. So maybe they could have done that. Do you want to experience the game as Henry? Then we'll leave him canonical. Or you can create your own character. At that point, the character is free to experience the game in ways that Henry wouldn't. I think that could have been good. And I understand that from a dialogue perspective, it could have made it you would have need to put some more work in it. But at that point, I don't think anyone could really have any position of disagreement when it comes to certain choices that Henry can have, which feel unnatural considering how the character was canonically, right? I think that would have been great, because at the end of the day, you can create whatever character you want, play as however you want. Freedom. At that point, I say freedom. Free to do whatever you want, enjoy the game however you want. You bought it. It's your game. It's your playthrough. It's your choice. It's a way to make more people happy, I guess. Marvin Martin, thank you. Is there a historical, for the donation, is there a historical what-if scenario you'd like to do a video on? How would you have finished Legacy of Kain Saga if you could have made a final game? Oh, gosh. Well, to be honest, I would have stuck with Kain. I would have made a Legacy of Kain 2 that was closer to the original and remained a dark RPG where you play the vampire, and I would have just kept it the same. I was a little disappointed with how the things continued, so I would probably make a complete remake of the entire thing. I'm not sure about a what if scenario that can come out of my mind, like out of the blue right now. There are a few, I imagine. So yeah, thank you for the donation of Him. Hey Metatron, would you like to review my paintings? I don't know if I could, to be honest. Like, appreciate the donation, but it's not like I'm an art critic, so I'm not sure if I don't know if you have a channel. Feel free to let me know. I'll check it out. But unfortunately, if it's a link to a portfolio, I do not click links ever. It's a policy. Even if I sometimes lose sponsorships because they insist you need to click this link, but we'll give you $4,000, and I'm like, no, thank you. Policy, channel policy, never click links. So it's either linkless and PDF file less, and I mean PDF. I actually mean PDF. I'm not trying to say something weird, because now PDF file is used to mean something specific that we can't say, a horrible thing that we can't say. I'm not meaning it that way. I actually mean the real PDF file, because unfortunately PDF can contain hacking stuff, so they will tell you, oh, sign this, and I'm like, no, sorry, if it's PDF, I'm not clicking it. It is what it is. We have to defend ourselves. Thank you for gifting a Metatron membership, Killing Duck. I didn't see that. Appreciate that. You're right, Dissection. You can't trust game companies to remake games without changing anything beyond the graphics. You know what? If I ever like something happens, one of the channels explodes, and I become rich, I'm founding my own gaming company. I'll put together like 5 or maybe 10, but I mean, even 5 is fine. I mean, Valheim was made by 5 guys. So I put together 5 skilled programmers, and we will make games like they're supposed to be. We will make games like they're supposed to be. Yeah, we'll see. That would be great. Jimen Garcia says, Metatron thoughts on horror games and movies. Horror movies, I only watch psychological horror, so I'm not into gore. I'm into ghosts rather than zombies. I just don't like gore and splatter, but I do love a well-made horror story with like phantoms and ghosts and maybe even vampires. Vampires is like the line, because I know there's blood, but it's not splatter, so I'm fine with vampires. Is where I draw the line with horror. Anything beyond that, when we start seeing organs and I don't want to see that. But I prefer like ghosts, poltergeist, and that kind of stuff. I love it. And then when it comes to games, I play a lot of horror games. I play a particularly first person. Love it. Love it. V. Latrell, thank you for the donation. You should check out Cajun French if you have never heard of it. It comes from South Louisiana. Really? And encouraging learning a language from grandpa. That's adorable that you're learning it from grandpa. Say hi to your grandpa then. From me, I made a note. Metatron, have you reacted to the video Medieval Helmets from the channel Medieval Hit? No, I haven't. I'm opening a tab. Let me see. Which one is it though? Let me see. Medieval Helmet, Medieval Hit. Or are you talking History Hit? If you're talking History Hit, then yes, I have. I have reacted to that. It was pretty bad. I'm sorry to say, because I actually like the historian in question. I think he's nice, but I don't think helmets are his area of expertise. Let's put it this way. Portable document file. Yep. Which Legacy of Kain is my favorite? The original for PlayStation 1. Still have it physical. Still play it. What a game. Do you like the Resident Evil remakes? Titan Bro asks. I think Resident Evil 2 is a splendid remake, and I played it twice. Finished it twice. Once with... What's the name of the girl? I played Jill Valentine, and one time with Chris, right? You can play... No, it's not Chris. What am I saying? It's the police guy. Oh, gosh, what's his name? Anyways, I finished it twice, even though I forgot the name of the police recruit guy. Leon, thank you. I got confused with the first one. Anyways, yeah, so I played the whole thing, loved it. Remake 2 was great, and I'm really... I haven't played Remake of 3 yet, but because I want to give priority to Silent Hill 2 Remake first. I want to play that one. Because Silent Hill 2 was such a good game. Finished the original, of course. Tree Goblin says, elf means beautiful white person unless you're a dark elf. If you're a dark elf, it depends on the setting, because Warhammer, yes, dark elves are as white as an Irishman. But in D&D, dark elves, their skin is bronze to purplish to grey. Am I right? I think Drizdo Erden is described as having bronze skin, so he would be dark-skinned. Whereas when it comes to, yeah, sometimes you see them in video games like Forgotten Realms as well, yeah. I think they're more of a purplish color, which I think looks really good. I like elves with... I prefer dark elves with a purple color. To me, that's just me. There's something about it. Hagop04, thank you very much for subscribing with Prime. Subscribe for 2 months. Hey, appreciate that. You won't regret it. A lot of gaming content coming soon on Twitch. Oh, yeah, as an Irishman, that's absolutely true. Yeah, Murph, absolutely. Goodness gracious, have you seen like the art for Warhammer Fantasy? Man, you can't get... they're literally as white as this. The Dark Elves. So anyways, it depends. And then again, in the Elder Scrolls, Altmer have gold skin. Dark Elves are into the gray/purplish. So yeah, elven skin really depends on the setting. I like the Irish accent too, Daxfile. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, I think high elves and grey elves are very much like a little bit of like they have a bit of a Nordic human look, but a bit more effeminate, because of course an elf is not like a you don't imagine like a Nordic guy that is like muscular. It's more like you could imagine like a Nordic guy that is more on the effeminate side. And I say that as I love elves. High elves are my favorite. When it comes to wood elves, it depends, because sometimes I've always liked to imagine high elves are being like that, like blonde, blue eyes. But when it comes to wood elves, I like imagining them with black hair or brown hair, maybe red, to give it a contrast. But that's just me imagining it, like if it was my fantasy setting, I suppose. It's just how elves are, I suppose. Tiger Star asks how to pronounce the name of Jesus' disciple in the original language. Gosh, the disciples, it's a little beyond my scope. I haven't researched it. I was just interested in his name. And there are 3 different ways that you can pronounce it. Like his full name is, I'll just say it for the chat in case they're interested. His full name would be Yehoshua, which can be shortened to Yeshua, which apparently his friends would call him Yeshu. But yeah. Fun fact, Leon means lion. Yep, true. And in Italian, if you add an O, Leone, is how we say lion. Cool name. Leon Kennedy, yeah, exactly. His name was Kennedy. Man, it's so Japanese. That is so Japanese to be like, what surname should we give to the character? Kennedy, like the president. So yeah. Enoch, thank you for the $10. You're the only person on YouTube I disagree with. Yes, I trust your videos to be historically accurate. I appreciate that. Thank you. You can be wrong sometimes, so you're never biased. Please, more content on African history. I will, absolutely. I absolutely will. And thank you for the support. Appreciate the intellectual honesty. William says, very good point. I'm just sick of buying half games. Just give us a full game instead of all microtransactions. Yeah, it's nonsense. It really is. Like, DLC used to be a very good concept. You finish a game, you give it to the audience, and we loved it. So you know that there is a potential for more business from their point of view. So they make the DLC content, and then we buy it. We love it. It's extra. And but then they had to, you know, that's the marketing experts got into it, and they ruined it really, because then they made it into, okay, let's take the full game, remove the characters. In fact, they did this They did this. They looked at, okay, who are the characters people like the most? Okay, put those DLC, and then it's nonsense. It's horrible, and the stages and all of that. It's yeah, ridiculous. Baumgartner, Metatron, did you ever visit the Capuchin catacombs in Palermo? Oh yeah, like 5 times. Absolutely. Very, very macabre place with all the dead corpses that are still there from the Middle Ages. In fact, they're divided. You see the noblemen, you see the monks, you see the peasants, the farmers. It's all divided. Yeah, and you can still see some original remains of the fabric that they were wearing. It's interesting. Okay, let me double check that I didn't skip any super chat here because I don't want to be disrespectful. Yes, I did actually. Ink Panification, thank you for the donation. To add to V Latrell, you ought to try gumbo and jambalaya. Is this food? Well, I'll have to see what V Latrell said, but is that food? And Brian Finley, thank you. Please don't start saying I could care less. It's annoying when Americans say that. Yeah, no, I say I don't particularly care. That's how I say it. I've always said it like that my whole life, so I don't think I would say it. I think they say I couldn't care less, though. I think they put it in negative. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not the native here. Oh, Villatrell, there you go. You should check out. Oh, yeah, Cajun French. So they were languages. It wasn't food. But thank you. Yeah, I'm writing notes. There we go. DJ Medeiros, thank you for the donation. Sorry for taking my sweet time to see it. Metatron, if Christopher Columbus is not the one who discovered the New World, who is the one in second place that discovers the New World and has their name in the history books? Who, Amerigo Vespucci, is that who you are talking about? Unless we are talking earlier discoveries like the idea of Norse explorers reaching Greenland and possibly some areas in Mesoamerica, Central America, well, still Northern America. Maybe that's what you're referring to, or Amerigo Vespucci, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, I think I've reviewed everything. Lil asks, as a Norwegian, were Vikings really that great warriors? I think, yes, some Vikings absolutely were. Some Norse were excellent warriors, excellent bodyguards, in fact, not just warriors. And I mean, they did wreak havoc. But then again, they also traded a lot. That's something people don't really say much, but they were into that as well. Okay, so I think I reviewed. Let me check Twitch. How are we doing? Oh yeah, Hago04. Hagop. Just make a Roman game, please. I will pay to buy it. Yeah, no, sure, absolutely. I'm making a Roman game if that dream ever happens of opening up my own gaming studio. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. Have you ever watched The Miracle Aligner? No, I haven't. I don't know what that is. You love the Blood Omen soundtrack. It's pretty good. Blood Omen is good. Hagops, thank you for subscribing with Prime for 2 months. I think I did say that, but I'll say it again. Thank you again. Since you did it 2 months, I say it twice. Why not? And then same for Afex4. Thank you for subscribing. Also, DLC often adds freshness to the gameplay because the developers, yeah, exactly, have much more highlight. It's not just adding extra 20 hours of story time, it's new gameplay. Yeah, true, sometimes, very true. The original Dragon Age had a nice DLC, I remember, that you could play. Like, they'd added more content. Oh, they don't. They actually say I could care less. They don't say negative. Oh, I see. I didn't know this. See Alon. Oh, I see. They actually use could care less. Yeah, no. I couldn't care less is how I would have thought is correct. I would have corrected someone if they said it the other way around. Oh, sorry, I missed your super chat. I'll check it now. Let me find it. Orpheus says, my paintings are on Elon's social. Orpheus him. Oh, on X, you mean? I'll check them out. And let me see. Have you played Blasphemous by chance? Oh, Blasphemous? I heard of it. M138, thank you for the donation. I heard of it, but I don't think I ever played it, no. All right, let me see let me see the Killing Duck super chat. Let me look for it. So, there we go. Fair warning, Metatron. Oh yeah, no, I did read it. The black character does not exist historically, but they have given decent enough reasons why a black man would be in Prague. Oh, I see. I thought I had read it, so I see. Well, no, I understand that it's not a real historical character, but when it comes to giving decent enough reasons, I'll look into that. I'll see if it aligns with, if it's reasonable. We'll have to see. I'll look into it 100%. Thank you for the donation and support. Get back to live chat so I can see everything. Blasphemous is really neat, gorgeous art. Metroid-like gameplay. Really, I love Metroid. I love Metroid. Gabriel says it is wrong. That's funny. Yeah. Legacy of Kain, great music. I agree, YJ. Yeah. What's my favorite Elder Scrolls game? So normally I would say Oblivion, but tonight that might change because I'm gonna play Daggerfall, and it has a lot of potential to become my new favorite. I don't know. Anyways, at this point in time, it's Oblivion, my favorite Elder Scrolls. Oblivion. Motocross asks, do you know what the proper historical pronunciation is for the title? Ooh, historical? Duquesa, maybe, yeah. Maybe. Duchess, I wonder when it becomes Duchess. Duquesa. Maybe Duquesa is older. That would be my guess, but I haven't looked into it. Mihoville asks, have you played Song of Conquest? No, and people keep asking me to play it, so I'm gonna make a note. Thank you for the suggestion. Man, Metroid for Super Nintendo is my favorite Metroid, let me tell you that much. Super Metroid. I don't think you can beat it, even with a new one. Nope. Super Metroid is unbeatable. Oh, good. My Dr. Canestrelli, my lead researcher from my team, the one that doesn't exist, he just sent me. He finished a deep research section that I needed to add to my own research to make a deep video. I didn't know it was gonna send it today. That's fantastic. Maybe tomorrow we can film it. It's gonna be great. Oh, that's good. That's good. Let's see. Ishi8, thank you so much for gifting 10 subscriptions on Twitch. Man, Twitch tonight is on fire, and so is YouTube. What a night. I need to go live more often at 4. But all jokes aside, one thing that I am gonna do is, because it's the 29th, tomorrow and the 31st, I will do a live stream every day, same time like today, because I want to boost up the algorithm a little bit as we get closer to February. So expect a live stream tomorrow, same time, around 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, and then the day after as well, unless I get a headache. If it's a day with a headache, I'll skip it. But generally speaking, so today we're having this special live stream. Tomorrow we'll have another one in the afternoon. The day after we'll have another one. And yeah, so that's happening, just so you know. And of course, I'm going to multi-stream on Twitch, if you guys are following me on Twitch. On Twitch, I do go live more often. For gaming though, because I don't want to span my main channel with gaming's content, but in general the live streams are happening. So yeah, sub hype, yay. And thank you Varianaga for subscribing. I gotta read your name right. One Ryavka. Thank you for subscribing on Twitch with Prime. Joel is Joel is great. Oh, you do know him? Yeah. He's a lead researcher. Oh, no, I know that you can combine chat. It's just I haven't done it yet. I'm aware I can do it. Although, then again, I kind of like the fact that I have both separate. But I understand why it could be easier. It's just that I wonder if there's going to be too many messages at the same time. At least like this, it's a little bit more manageable. Monolith says 4 p.m. Hi, it's past midnight there. So are you in Europe, I imagine? Oh no, it's not out of place, Marcello. You can absolutely ask that. Metatron, I hope the question isn't out of place, but may I ask if your main occupation today is content creation? Yeah, content creation is my main occupation, and writing, since 2025 is the year I will become an author. So I'm working on a series of books. But yeah, content creation is definitely my main occupation. I used to teach in school. I've done it for 10 years, but I stopped quite a few years ago, to be honest, when content creation started paying better than what they were paying me at school. So I actually spoke with the headmaster and I said, listen, I'm just gonna do YouTube. I'm just gonna YouTube. I'm gonna focus on that. Thank you so much. They tried to keep me there. They were like, no, don't do that. And I said, listen, either you double my thing, or I just gotta do that. It is what it is, and I'm freer. It's more creative. I can be home. It's just better. And so finally, they kept calling me occasionally saying, did you change your mind? Did your channel fail? Like, no, still working. So you know, it is what it is. I say it is what it is a lot, though. I need to stop saying that. I say it too much. PNW Forest Faye, hi, I found you on YouTube. Love your videos. They are so informative, plus all the varied subjects. Thank you. Appreciate that. Love your name, as I already said. I'll say it again. So yeah. It's kind of sad, to be honest. These teachers deserve way more. Oh, I agree. Teachers are creating the new leaders of our future, both when it comes to the education that our politicians will have, when it comes to the expertise of the engineers and the historians and the mathematicians and the programmers. Everyone comes from thanks to the quality of their teachers, and yet they are really underpaid. But then again, so are firefighters. It's just yeah, it's a society that really isn't really structured well when it comes to these things, unfortunately. That even the fact that I am more paid than a school teacher annoys me, even though I am a teacher after all. You know, once a teacher, always a teacher, and I just changed the medium that I use. But then again, it is what it is. Yeah. Non-Bisco says, I think you can stream cross-platform and maybe use your gaming YouTube channel. Yeah, I do that a lot. In fact, whenever I'm live on Twitch, I'm also multi-streaming on the Protectorate on my gaming channel. Only a couple of times I didn't because I was starting too late, and I'm like, nah, I'll just do an hour on Twitch. I won't bother with multi-stream. But usually I multi-stream when I play a game, so that both have it. And it's the best thing, objectively the best thing to do. It's like killing killing two birds with one stone. Yeah, the opposite wouldn't be good, would it? Killing one bird with two stones is like, man, that's overkill. A Gallo Glass video, I'll think about it. I did write it down as an idea. Congratulations on receiving the research staff. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the donation, PPK. I appreciate Cantor. And Shama4508, I think you missed my super. Love your channel. It's refreshing. Oh, I'll check it now. I'll look for it now. Thank you, of course, for the patience, because, yeah, I'm a little slow when it comes to these things. But I do read the chats. There you go, found it. Have you ever watched the fastest swordsman in the world, Sao Machi? Yes, I have. Have you played The Witcher 3? Yes, I have. When it comes to Sao Machi, I have a React video on my channel, but it's from like freaking 8 years ago. So if you write Metatron Sao Machi or Metatron Modern Day Samurai, I think you'll find it still. So yeah. But sorry for missing the super chat. And Slender099, for an English speaker, what would be an easy second language to try to learn? Keep up the good work. For an Anglophone? An easy second language. You know, I'm just going to give you the same advice, main advice that I'm going to give in the book that I'm writing on how to reach fluency in languages. And it's the language that you're more interested in. Passion is a massive booster when it comes to consistency and endurance, like continuing to do it. Because that's the only reason why people never reach fluency, is because they quit. That's the only reason. Or they say they're studying it, but in reality it doesn't qualify as studying because they're not doing it right. But in general, it's because of that. If as long as you're consistent and you keep doing it, possibly daily, language learning should be daily. As long as you do it, you will learn it. And so in order for you to continue, you shouldn't choose the language that is easier mechanically. Because if the culture doesn't interest you, if the history doesn't interest you, if you don't want to speak to the people from those countries, if you don't want to visit it, if you don't care about it, if you don't like the way it sounds, the simple fact that it's mechanically easier, it's not going to help. On the other hand, a language that is objectively harder might be subjectively easier for you. And that's important. It makes a whole. So I would just say, pick the one you like. Pick the one that intrigues you. And that will do it. Unless you're trying to do it for business, I guess. But even then, it's highly competitive out there. I know, because that's what I used to do. I used to be a professional simultaneous translator. I used to do that. Interpreter, simultaneous, like that. And if I hadn't, I could do it with Japanese. I could do it with English. But the only reason is because I really liked it. If I had to do like, yeah, I want to be a full-time interpreter, but I'm choosing a language I don't like, yeah, good luck beating the people that love it and put in twice the amount of hours you do and spent 3 years in the country and you didn't. You're never going to compete. They're never going to choose you. So in that case, I say, choose the language you like, mate. Choose the language you like. It will give you the extra motivation that you need in order to be competitive. Unless it's a passion project, then do whatever you want. But yeah. Can you react to Kings and Generals video on what did the Romans think about race identity? I didn't know they had one. I'm absolutely going to put it as one of the things. Today we are going to react to Kings and General, but today I want to react to the one about the Celts and Celtic stuff. So we're going to do that one today. But I absolutely will react to that. Is it similar to the one made by Invicta? Because I don't dislike nor hate Invicta in any way, shape, or form. I think Julian has always been... We haven't spoken in years, but when we did speak in the past, he was very polite towards me, very nice. So we even collaborated once. So I have nothing against Invicta, but I disagreed quite a bit with his take on... It wasn't bad, though. Like, there are videos that are objectively horrible. His video wasn't horrible, but there were some positions that I disagreed with, and when I made my response video. So I wonder if this video is similar, worse, better. You let me know. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out. You should react to Family Guy speaking Italian. As I say, it sounds fun, but it sounds like it's going to get my video copy claimed, so I'm not going to do it. Thank you, Nicolas Panzella. I appreciate that. Terracini is your ancestral home. Cool. Have I ever been to Terracini in Sicily? I haven't personally, but I know a lot of people that have like they have it as a vacation or holiday destination. Like they have maybe family there, and they own a little house, and they go and spend maybe a month in Terracini. I know people that do that. Absolutely. Oh, you did. So Texan American, I see. I'll have to watch it then. Thank you, L, for loving the channel. I appreciate that. Siamo a New York City. Oh yeah, I've reacted to him quite a few times. I think he's a good speaker of Mandarin. It's just the titles. The titles are cringe, but so are mine sometimes. So it is what it is. But thank you for all the ideas, man. All of these ideas for videos. You basically planned my next week of content production. Why don't you guys have videos? You'd probably be more successful than me with all these ideas you have. Pietro Motta. Ciao Metatron, that sounds very Sicilian. Love your content, your approach and your style, the way you tackle different subjects with professionalism, respect is a profession to see. Keep up the great work. Ciao Pietro. Ciao, and grazie. Grazie mille Pietro. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, I agree. I'm glad to hear that, L. Your game sounds awesome. A video on how to catch the eye of a noble lady. Yeah, yeah. Well, let me tell you this much. When I proposed to my wife, I proposed in Venice, near the Bridge of the Lovers. So, yeah, I had style with that. Inkpinification says Xiaoma, New York City is a grifter. I don't know if he's a grifter. I think grifter is a bit much. He is very clickbaity. 100% is clickbaity. But I wouldn't call him a grifter. I mean, there is, I don't know what it's not like he's doing any political pushing of anything, as far as I know. I hate, though, his titles when he says, like, I learned Italian in 3 days. No, you didn't. Shut up. That's my reaction to, but then again, as I say, his Mandarin is good. Yeah, the rest is like the other languages. It's that like his video on Sicilian, I appreciated it. It made me laugh. So made me smile. Let's put it this way. So there are a few videos of his when he's like that are nice. It's just that the titles are very cringy. But once again, people could say that about me. So yeah. You have to play the algorithm when it comes to title. Oh, tell me about it, Joshua. It is one of those things like hate the game, not the player. Sure, he didn't do well in Scotland. Yeah, you know, it's like the thumbnails make it look like, oh, look at all these girls impressed by this white guy speaking their language and they're so smart. It's like, yeah, it does give that impression, doesn't it? But once again, when he made the video on Sicilian, I loved it. I thought it was nice. So once you, as long as you get past the thumbnail and title, and you disregard the videos where he pretends to learn a language in 3 days, then I actually like the content. I think it's nice. It puts a smile on my face, and so that's. And again, I respect someone who reaches fluency in Mandarin because Mandarin is tough. So again, I'm kind of mixed feelings when it comes to Xiama. John Coolbanis, have you heard of Ammon Hillman? Oh, is it the guy, the ancient Greek expert? I think the guy is out of his mind. But he probably thinks I'm like his opposite. I'm like his nemesis. So, yeah. Do you like writing with fountain pens? Yeah, why not? A group of singers who sing Sicilian, not sure. Yeah, that's him. My gosh, that guy. That guy. I mean, yeah, I don't even know if it's I think it's one of three things. I'm gonna make you laugh now, but when it comes to that guy, it's either he says outrageous stuff because he's knowledgeable. I won't take that away from him. He's knowledgeable when it comes to ancient Greek, but he either says outrageous stuff because he knows it's gonna give him views, and so he knows it's being outrageous and he's doing it on purpose. That's one option. Two, no, he actually does believe what he says, in which case, as I say, I think it's out of his mind with quite a few of his statements. Not everything, but quite a few of his statements I think are completely outwardly. Or he's demon possessed. At this point, I'm gonna put that one as an option. Ah, that's funny. It's one of the three, I guess. Well, for some of you, it's only one of the two if you're an atheist, I suppose. I respect that, of course. But isn't he Catholic? Who, that guy? No, he's not a Catholic. Oh, no. Not at all. But yeah, I watch anyone. I think anyone should have freedom to speak whatever they want and say whatever theory they want to say. Freedom of speech. But yeah, not Catholic, no. I think he was brought up Christian, but I don't know. I don't think he was brought up Catholic. I think he was brought up like what, evangelical or something. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, it's yeah, you know, yeah. Ah, that guy. Heather says, Amon doesn't bother me in the slightest. Oh no, I laugh when I watch Amon. It doesn't bother me. But it does bother people, I understand, because he makes some statements that can be very offensive for Christians. And I say that as a Christian. Like, I understand when the point of view of some Christians that can get offended by it. To me, yes, I am a Christian, but I also think people should have the freedom to believe, not believe, think, say whatever they want. Because then again, freedom, and even from my perspective, if I want to open a very brief parenthesis on religious ideas, it's God's choice to give us freedom and free will. He could have forced us to only say and do what is right. He didn't. And therefore, I respect that as long as the freedom that, your freedom doesn't infringe into my freedom. At that point, then it becomes a situation. And yeah, freedom of religion, freedom of lack of religion, absolutely. And the only situations where I would be like, no, we're not going to allow that is when you have crimes, when you have, as I say, your freedom takes away mine, then no, I'll defend my own freedom and I'll defend people. I think the law is necessary. I'm not like a supporter of, what is it called? Anarchy. Anarchy doesn't work. But I think people should be allowed to say whatever they want. So if you want to present an insane thing from my perspective, you should be able to say it, because probably some of the things I believe are insane from the perspective of some of the people here in the comments that said, like Joshua says he's an atheist. Absolutely, I respect that. It's your choice. And yeah, I'm sure some of the things I believe in the resurrection of Christ, to you is not true. To me is absolutely true. And that's fine, as long as we don't have to force each other's ways, right? We can talk about it. We can sit down and have a civil discussion about it. But I think, yeah, freedom. It's always freedom. Yeah, hey, Greg. So good to have you here. Good morning, everyone. Early stream, Mr. Metatron. Oh, yeah, my friend, because I missed the streams for the last 5 nights because on Friday I had the worst migraine of my life. Kept me up all night until 7 in the morning. Then I had to sleep until 1 to recover. And I had to take, like, too much ibuprofen to take care of it. So I'm like, you know what? I need a break. So I took a break for a couple of days, did absolutely nothing, just enjoyed, turned on my Amiga, played a little bit, watched a movie, ate some pizza, little chat with my wife. That was what I did for 2 days straight. And the only reason why I kept posting videos is because I had an archive of pre-recorded videos that I keep just in case I have situations like this. It's all organized. But when it comes to live streams, since I can't pre-record those, I just had to stop doing live streams for a few nights. But today we're back. And tomorrow I'm going to go live stream again, 4 p.m. Central Standard. And I'll go live again the day after tomorrow. And possibly in the evenings we'll do some gaming as well. Salve, Panzer. Good to have you here. Marcello asks if when I was a teacher in school, if I was teaching history of languages, mostly languages. I only did a little bit of history and culture with special events at school that they would give me, like there was a special event and I would be the speaker. And then I would also like speak about Japanese language, history and culture, make a presentation, 4-hour presentation. I did that quite a few times. But generally speaking, I was mostly teaching languages, yes. The one thing, though, is that sometimes in my language classes in high school, I would also teach some history because I told the headmaster of the school, you've got to let me teach a little bit of culture, a little bit of history, because that's the best way to become fluent in a language, is to understand because otherwise we're just substituting the words like you're putting a new skin. And I'll give you one example. In Japanese, let's say I'm teaching a Japanese class, which I did used to teach. I used to teach English, I used to teach Japanese. I taught several languages. I used to teach Italian. When I was teaching Japanese, one thing that I would teach very early on is, okay, we can learn that thank you is arigato and sorry is sumimasen. But then again, if we don't learn how they culturally use these, you're not actually learning them. And you will use them the way you use them in your own culture. So you're using your own matrix, but you're just swapping the words, and that does not help. Sometimes even impedes communication, and if it doesn't, you will never sound natural. You want to sound natural when you speak whatever target language you're trying to reach fluency in. And so in this case, for example, thank you. The Japanese do use it similarly to how we do. Arigato, arigato gozaimasu. But say I drop this, falls on the floor, someone else picks it up for me. As in my language, I would say, grazie. And in English, I would say, oh, thank you. But in Japanese, you say sorry. In Japanese, you say, sumimasen. Why? Because from the perspective, cultural perspective of the Japanese, I dropped it, so I'm at a disadvantage towards you now because you were so kind that you picked it up for me, but you wouldn't have had to if I had been more careful. Therefore, I apologize. The Japanese do this a lot, and that's something you learn when you live I lived in Japan for 4 years. For instance, at the end of each month, when a boss in the company that I was working for as a translator, he would hand us the money, the stipend, the salary, in a little envelope. Every Japanese would say sorry. So I started saying sorry. Why am I saying sorry even though I'm being paid for my work? Because from their perspective, once again, I'm taking money from someone else. And therefore, I apologize for it. I apologize that I'm not so successful and rich that I have to take the money from you, even though I put in the work. So this is when you really learn to speak a language, when you speak like them, not when you speak like yourself with a skin. And so this is just an example. Japanese gives you a gift. It is polite to reject up to 3 times. So these things are all essential when you learn a language, and therefore when I was teaching my language classes in high school, I also would teach a little bit of the culture, the history. Why do the Japanese use both hands when they give you something instead of doing this? Why do the Japanese, when they pour you a drink, they do it with both hands? There are some connections to feudal Japan and how if you use both hands, you are basically telling the other person, you can trust me because if I only use one hand, I could pick up a blade. But if I do this, both my hands are focused on doing something for you. Like there's a lot, even when they get up from Seiza, they always get up with the right knee first, and that there is a possible connection in that stayed throughout the Edo period, which is when Seiza was pushed by the government, because before that the Japanese would do crisscross applesauce more commonly than Seiza, so sitting on your heels. But in the Edo period it was pushed as the correct way and the way a Japanese sits, and therefore that's when it also became a thing, because in the warrior class they would get it into a habit to get up always with the right knee first, because your blade is on the left. So imagine you are a samurai, you are sitting in Seiza, but someone like an assassin enters and they want to attack your lord, and you need to get up very quickly and also draw your blade as quickly as possible to defend your master. Then if you get up with the wrong knee, you could cut yourself if it's the same knee as where you have your blade, your wakizashi, for example, and therefore they just got it into a thing that you just get up with the right, and that's what people still do. So it's the culture and history is so strongly connected to the way people express themselves that you have to learn it a little bit. You don't have to go deeply into the history and culture of a population to learn the language, but somewhat, yes. A little bit, yes. And man, that was a long tangent, isn't it? And Greg says, merci beaucoup, monsieur. We also very polite in Switzerland, at least people born in the 80s like me. Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. So let's see. Nice. And Greg says it is important to take your beliefs seriously while accepting the ones of others and respecting them as well. 100%. Crispy crust Roman pizza is amazing, says Intranetusa. Yeah, but Naples pizza is better, in my opinion, than Roman pizza, like by a factor of 10. In fact, Sicilian pizza is better than Roman pizza, unless like really good place in Rome, I guess. I don't remember if I thanked Half Gazo for subscribing on Twitch, so just in case, thank you for subscribing on Twitch, appreciate that. Let me see how Twitch is doing right now. Marcello Vallasio, thank you for subscribing with Prime. And Sorin von Otomo also subscribed on Twitch. Thank you so much for the support. Twitch is growing very fast. It really is. How many subscribers do I have? Because you know how it is on Twitch that followers are the same as YouTube subscribers, and subscribers are the equivalent of members on YouTube. Oh, right, that was me again. So let me see. How many subscribers do I have? Creator dashboard. I'm just checking out of curiosity. Let me see. Analytics overview. Subscriptions 124 in the last 30 days. That's lovely. Can I see the entire thing? gonna... Oh, well, too complicated. Oh, yeah, no, I found it. Maybe last 30 days. Yeah, I don't know how to see the entire thing, to see the full number. Where the heck would you see? You know, you can tell I'm still learning how Twitch works. It's gonna take some time, I suppose. But yeah, it's looking good. Twitch is looking good. Twitch is looking good. And okay, I'm just getting back to where I need to be. There you go. Joshua says, loved your video on the Shroud of Turin. Any more content on that? On the Shroud of Turin, right now, no. But, I mean, we'll see. Maybe. Not planned in the near future, but it's possible that I will. But definitely more Bible content, historical and linguistic Bible content like I used to make. Yeah, that's in the making. La Maître, thank you for the donation. Hey, Metatron, have you watched the OG Gundam show? Man, back in the day when I was a teenager, but I watched just a couple of episodes. I was more of a fan of Evangelion, if you know what I'm talking about when it comes to robots. And then even older, like Goldrake, Mazinga, yeah, those were the ones. Thank you, Greg, for the donation. I will have to slow on the gift subs, no problem. And Super Chat this month, absolutely. My son will go through multiple surgery. Oh no, but I will still support you the best I can. Love you all. Thank you so much. I really hope, let me know, keep me updated with your son, Greg. I hope that he's okay. It's nothing serious. And I always thank you for your support. Absolutely. Just watching the stuff and commenting is plenty already. I hope your son gets better. Let's see. Forest Faye, did my donation go through? I imagine, did you do it on Twitch or YouTube? I imagine Twitch. I'll double check, but probably. Thank you, of course, for the support. Yeah, I know, I'm very slow, Ares, at reading comments because there's a lot going on the chat, so I'm a little slow. And I also try to get back to chats that I skipped so that, you know, if there was a nice question. Spyro, thank you for gifting 5 subscriptions on Twitch. Very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Rogue, hello from New Zealand. Love your YouTube videos, man. I love your accent. I don't know if you have a Kiwi accent, but I love the Kiwi accent. New Zealand is so cool. If it wasn't that far away, I would have already visited it. You are becoming a star here, says Shaky TV. Hopefully. I don't need to become a star, but it would be nice if Twitch becomes, together with Metatron's Protectorate, which already is actually, but it would be nice if it becomes like a hobby that allows itself to exist, like you get some revenue and then you invest it on games and then you play the games and then games generate revenue that you reinvest on games. And that way we have a constant flow of games. Wonderful, isn't it? Games forever. Always games. Do you know about Chicago deep dish pizza? I do know, Le Maître. I never eaten one, but it's probably something. I mean, I like pizza in all of its forms except for pineapple. So as long as you don't put pineapple on it, I'll try it. Anything I miss about Italy? The coffee culture in the cafe. So going to the cafe, it's something I miss. And then some of the food, I guess. The weather, when it gets cold, then I do miss the weather in Sicily, Mediterranean food in general. But I mean, we do, at Publix, it's an excellent place where you can find stuff to make your own Mediterranean cuisine at home. Anyways, you get a lot of stuff from Italy that is pretty good. Yeah, what time is it in New Zealand, asks Heather. I have a question there. Thank you, Forest Faye. Really like your name. Said it third time. Janus, thank you for subscribing on Twitch. Appreciate it. Yeah, pineapple does not belong on pizza. Absolutely. Shaky TV says, my parents are visiting the Czech Republic tomorrow for 3 days for the first time. Excited to show them. Oh yeah, I mean, Czech Republic has got some beautiful... Prague is literally the Paris of the East, isn't it? Have them eat dumplings. Man, Czech people really nailed it with their dumplings. Oh, calzone is fantastic. That when it's well made, calzone is great. Hello from Greece. Hey, Harris. Let me see. So I know that is that Calimera? Calimera? Is it something helada? How do you read that, the one in the middle? I don't know how to read the one in the middle. Calimera. Is it amo? Well, you'll tell me. But hello. Hello to you. I hope you're doing well. Metatron knows Publix. Absolutely, absolutely. Publix is great. It's my favorite place for shop. Better than Kroger, better than all the other places. Walmart, whatever. Publix is the place to go. You ate pizza today. Artichoke, prosciutto, olives. Sounds good. Sourdough. Huh. Oh, I see. So the word for coffee in Danish is café. Like in Italian then. I see. Oh yeah, double F. Oh no, one F. Both, maybe? Thank you for the donation, Evil. Finally caught you live. My pleasure. Have you seen the Everybody Wants to Rule the World in Classical Latin song? Also, best channel on YouTube. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. No, I haven't seen it, but if it's a song, I don't watch songs during live streams because they get me copy claimed. But I did write a little note for me to check it out offline. Thank you. Seneca, how would you react if the missus tried to feed you pineapple on pizza? Oh no, we established that one very soon before the marriage. She's free to put all the pineapple she wants on her pizza, but it's never gonna happen on mine. Do flat earthers believe in deep dish? Says Alan. I guess, as long as it's flat. As long as it's not round, I think they'll be fine with it. I'm not a big fan of Domino's, but it is better than Papa John. Papa John is too sweet. Too sweet for me. Literally, they put sugar in the cheese, sugar in the tomato sauce, sugar in the dough. What the heck? Higashi Martial Arts, yo Metatron, can you shout out to my daughter Ayumi? Hello, Ayumi. What a lovely name, by the way. I love the name Ayumi. Hello to Ayumi. Let's all say hello to Ayumi. Frederick says your pronunciation is spot on, Metatron. Oh, good to know. Thank you. It means it sounds like Italian then. In Swedish it is caffè. We drink a lot of it, I imagine. Yeah, we say caffè as well in Italian. In Sicilian, it's pronounced with one F. Caffè. So, I guess we're both. Yeah, we go. Everyone in chat is saying hello, Ayumi. Thank you, Deshaun, for the donation. Appreciate it. Have you watched Born to the Saber? No, I haven't. Deshaun, thank you for the donation. I enjoy your channel lots. Thanks. I too lived in Japan. Best brand to buy European swords from. I would buy them either from, either from Elgur Sword Makery. I'll show you. Or Albion, to be honest. Albion is great. I want to buy an Albion sword so bad. It's crazy. Let's do some sword prawn. There you go. I'll be there in a second. There you go. So we've got Albion swords. Splendid. Absolutely fantastic. I really want to buy one of their swords and even have an affordable line if budget is a problem. Still expensive, but then again, it's a sword. So it's going to be a little bit expensive. But yeah, I love Albion swords very much. The Squire line is the one that is a little cheaper. As you see, still expensive. Still have to spend like $500, $600, but it's not like $1,000, $2,000. That's what I mean. Like it's expensive, but it's not like crazy expensive that it could be people's 3 months of rent for a sword. And they are great. I love the Squire line. It's really, really nice. Like this 13th century knightly sword, I would buy that right this second. I would buy it now. I'll think about it because this is good. I'll think about it. But if not, Elgur Sword Makery. It's a fantastic. He's based in Europe. The other one is based in America. And as you see, High Middle Ages sword projects. He's got some really, really good stuff. I'm sorry it's taking a while to load, but look at this. And by the way, the difference between Albion swords and Elgur is that Albion swords are machine made. They're fantastic, but one thing that I have to say about this man is that he makes these the old school way. Hammer and anvil. And look at this. Gorgeous, gorgeous sword makery. So very, very highly suggested, and I will make sure that this goes into Metatron clips so that people that, because it's going to be difficult to find this spot on a live stream that is like hours long. So I'll have my editor cut this section and the one about Rome and Lorica Segmentata, and we put them together so that people can find these. Because at the end of the day, yes, you can buy swords in Cult of Athena, and Cult of Athena is fine. The only problem with Cult of Athena is that it's a dice roll, so I know it's Scalagrim's favorite place. It's definitely not mine. Cult of Athena is fine, though. I have nothing against it. You can find some good swords. In fact, if anything, you can find swords from this other man that is fantastic. One moment. Todd's Cutler. It's another place you should get your swords from. I will share my screen. I know I'm not reading the chat right now, but I'll get back and read it. Ooh, what the heck happened there? I don't know what happened there. But definitely not with Todd. I mean, I'm okay. It's a false alarm with Todd, I can tell you that much. But yeah, so Todd Cutler has got and Todd, the other one. One is Todd Cutler. What's the other one? I don't remember. But anyways, Todd's Workshop. There you go. They have incredible Warhammer maces. I own 2 maces from him. I do not own any of his swords, but he's got great swords. So anyways, he's based in the UK, of course. But yeah, these are the 3 makers that I would highly recommend over anything else to get your swords from. European swords, 100%. All right, let me get back to the chat, see what I missed. Greg is showing some swords. Why not? Yeah, you're very welcome, Hiyashi Martial Art. Absolutely. Pineapple on pizza is sacrilege, I agree. Yeah, some ricotta on pizza is good. It's just make sure to put it after baking is the way I like it. Like put it fresh rather than cooking it. That's the way I like it. I mean, however you want. Doesn't really matter. If it's a frozen pizza with some ricotta on it, it's fine. Just cook the whole thing at that point. Lost Legion is a Roman survival game coming out soon. I can't wait. Glory to Rome. Glory to Rome, my friend. Yeah, they are incredible. Chama 4508. Those are the best 3 websites, in my opinion, ever to buy your swords. If, however, you want Gladi, there is one more, and he's a specialist, and he's in Italy. What the heck was his name, though? Let me see. I don't know if I can remember his name. Gladius. What was his name? I'm trying to see if I can find him, but I don't want to spend too long. If I can't find him, I can't find him. There is an excellent sword maker in Italy that is focused entirely on Roman swords, and he does an incredible job. But they are very expensive. I'm talking $1,000 per Gladius. So it's like it's only for someone who has a large budget to invest. I cannot remember his name to save my life right now, but if it comes back to me, I will absolutely let you know. It's just right now I can't remember. I'm sorry about that. It's one of those things when at the end of the stream I will. 100%. You're writing these down. Good, good. Heather asks, how does the wife feel when you buy new swords and armor? What does she say? Oh, nothing. She gets excited about it because one thing that I think we did well when it comes to our relationship is that she doesn't judge what I like and I don't judge what she likes. So if she saves up the money and decides to buy luxury, like she wants to buy a wallet from Louis Vuitton, I don't like that kind of stuff. I'm not into famous brands, but it's her thing. However she wants to use her own money, her own disposable income, it's entirely up to her. And when she presents me with the new wallet that is like whatever, this and that, then I'll like it. I'll be like, oh, look at that, it's nice. You want me to take a picture of you with the thing? Likewise, if I buy a helmet, since similar, we're talking when it comes to prices. If I buy a helmet, she's like, oh, that's cool, I love your helmet, put it on, and then that's good. So, it's how it is. But we're both gamers, so when we buy games, we don't have to be like, we are both gamers. We play together video games. So when it comes to that one, is a common passion. When it comes to luxury for her and armor and weapons for me, we don't share that, but we have learned in our marriage to not judge what the other person does with our own personal disposable income. Or if I have a birthday present, I have a little bit of money, I'm like, oh, I want a frog mouth helmet. It's expensive, and it's definitely a luxury, given I can use it for content production, but so does she's got her own channel and she uses it for content production. So at the end of the day, it's very similar. How much would a typical sword cost during the medieval period? That's an excellent question, and I'm putting together a video to answer that. So it depends on the region, it depends on the type, and it depends on the quality of this sword. So in fact, it's a bit like asking from a period perspective. It's a bit like asking how much does a computer cost? How much does a car cost? The costs of a car will dramatically change if you're talking about a Fiat Panda or if you're talking about a Ferrari or Lamborghini. So it's the same with swords. In period, you can have a sword that it costs the equivalent of I don't know, years of pay for regular medieval person, and even soldiers, because it's got gold inlays and silver inlay and all of that kind of stuff. But then you can also have cheap swords, and off-the-shelf armor existed. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's just that the only thing is that cheap armor, for example, in the medieval period would look very different from cheap modern armor, because cheap medieval armor would be cheap in the sense that maybe it won't fit you perfectly. Maybe it won't be heat treated. That's cheap armor in the medieval period. Maybe the quality of the steel or the alloy is not the best. Maybe it's not gonna have a great finish. So it's gonna be matte. It's gonna be a little rough, perhaps. Not gonna be pearl polished. But the form to function factor, it's going to be still excellent because it's stuff that needs to work on the battlefield. Modern cheap armor, the stuff usually made in India, sometimes made in China, but it's mostly made in India, the cheap stuff, or Pakistan, I think. That armor is cheap in a different sense from the medieval perspective, because it will have the wrong form, it will have the wrong shape, but it will be mirror polished, because mirror polish now it's cheap to achieve, and instead in medieval period that would have been expensive and labor extensive to produce. And so it's weird, you know, how those two, because sometimes people do say, oh, but if you have an inaccurate helmet, but cheap stuff would have existed in the medieval period too. Yes, but in a completely different sense. And that's what makes a massive difference, and as to why sometimes, unless it's like, if it's LARP, you can do whatever you want, but if you're joining historical reenactment, I would suggest buy less armor, but get something that is maybe medium quality range. Maybe buy one helmet and one breastplate instead of a full set of armor, if the full set of armor is horrible quality and it doesn't help you reenact whatever you want to experience, because reenactment is all about experiencing the past rather than reading about the past. But in order to experience it, you have to have a certain degree of accuracy in the kit. So I would suggest just buy less, but maybe save up for a little longer and buy a good helmet, so that you have the idea and you have the form and you have the shape. That's what I think. I used to own a full plate armor set with mail, and my wife used to love it when I wore it, says Greg. Some RP knight saved the princess and then consumed the marriage. Yeah, sure. Why not? Having a little fun with reenactment, why not? That's still historical reenactment, isn't it? It depends on what you reenact, I suppose. Koro Shogun says spears were preferable. Yeah, less metal, easy to make, wood abundant, easy to use against cavalry. Well, yes, spear is really the king of weapons, but there are scenarios in which I would choose a sword over a spear, or even a dagger. But yeah, no, the spear is a fantastic weapon, and arming up spearmen and training them is definitely cost effective, particularly when it comes to how effective they will be on the field of battle. And it's such an ancient weapon if you think about it. The design of the spear has changed throughout history, but the base idea is prehistoric, probably Paleolithic. If we even consider flint spears, Paleolithic. Mesolithic, 100%. Mesolithic period, you already had bows and arrows. But I think in the Paleolithic, you would have spears already. It's probably one of the most ancient weapons ever made. Because if you think about it, just get a stick, make a point with a flint stone, make the point on the wood, even without even adding the flintstone point itself, and you've got a spear. Yeah. Yes, I have played Onimusha Warlords. I heard of it, but never played it. But I did play the original Onimusha 1, 2, and 3. Great games. Great games, by the way. I just tried to join your Discord, but the link isn't working. Oh, that's strange. Baron says, don't forget to check out the official Metatron Discord. Maybe see why. Do you think, Baron, do you think it's a local problem with Faye, or do you think it's a general problem? Let me see if the link works for me, Baron. And you're like, but you said you would never click links. Yeah, no, but Baron is fine. Yeah, it works. It works for me. So I don't know why it didn't work for you, friend. But the link seems to be working for me. What if one of you thinks the game is trash? Then only one will play it. The other one won't. Have you ever considered covering the history of Christianity in Japan? Yeah, that is a beautiful idea for a video topic. Thank you for that. Very good idea. Thank you. Added it to my to-do list. Anyways, let's switch. Janus3003, thank you for subscribing on Twitch. Thank you so much. Anyways, I'm going to switch to the second part of this stream. We're going to do some React. I've got some tabs open here. So let me move the chat to the side so I still see it, but it's on this side. I'm going to do that. So this is one chat. This is the other chat. And we're going to start doing some React. We've got some good stuff. We start with short things, and then we move into the good stuff. But I will show you exactly, well, hopefully it's all going to be good stuff, but 1 second, I need to, yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right, so let me show you what we've got to work with tonight. This is the live streaming one. Let me refresh it very quickly so that it still works. Yes, it does. Excellent. All right, so let me show you what we've got tonight. Okay, so we've got the first looks on Himiko for Civilization 7. It's only a 2 minutes thing, so I kind of wanted to have a look at it and see what Civilization 7 is looking like. And Himiko meaning Japan, so that's going to be nice to see what they've got. But then we go serious and we watch Ancient Origins of the Celts, Ancient Civilizations documentary from Kings and Generals. I want to see if it's good. Someone recommended it to me, so I will be looking into that and see if they did how they discussed the topic of the ancient Celts and their origins. Man, it's gonna be good stuff. Then we've got a video from Screen Tested about the Vampire Cross, best at throwing. It's gonna be nice. And then here is just some golden axe that I had for music a second ago. We don't really need it right now. And then we have this. I was asked specifically by one of you to check out this video, so we'll check it out. Italian in Brazil. We've got a lot of stuff to check out. So, and then we have medieval helmets. No, but this one I've already watched. So yeah, let's get started with some React. Let me make sure that I'm in the right section. That was my live streaming thing. Not particularly interesting. Let me see. Celts represent. Hello, hello. Man, that's going to be fun. I'm really, really looking forward to the Celtic one. I hope they did a good job because the Celtic stuff can be, well, we'll be the judge of that. Okay, let's get started with Himiko. Let's see what they've got for us. And let me make sure that the audio is good though. So I need to, there we go. Let's go. First look. Oh, sorry. There you go. Now you should be getting audio.
ラスオオミカミは娘である我を
From the late Yayoi period of Japan, Himiko was both a political and religious leader whose divine reputation is one of legend.
Wow, yayoi. Hey, we're going in Japanese Iron Age.
To convey her dual-sided nature, Himiko arrives with two personas in Civilization 7, a benevolent diplomat and a mystical shaman.
I'm gonna be the shaman.
As the Queen of Wa persona, friendship is your strength. Employ special diplomatic actions to boost your and your allies' scientific output. The more neighbors you count as friends, the stronger the scientific bonuses you'll receive.
Scientific bonuses for a yayoi civilization. That's an approach I wasn't expecting.
As the High Shaman persona, you'll channel the sun goddess Amaterasu, whose light shines upon the smiling faces of her subjects. Culture will grow amidst tales of your sorcery.
Amaterasu is the sun goddess of Japan.
Did you bewitch your citizens to bend to your rule? Or are those just rumors?
Huh.
Consider starting with the command.
Man, look at the graphics of the game. I think Civ 7, I'm really looking forward to it. I love how there are some choices they made that I'm not happy with. For example, the part where they kind of copied humankind. I don't know if you're aware of that. With this idea of you can change civilization as you progress, kind of annoys me. So I hope that that's optional, or that that's something that I can choose to follow a more historically coherent line rather than beginning as, I don't know, an ancient Asian civilization that then morphs into a European and ends up being African and ends up being, turns all the way back into the, like, it's, you know, I don't particularly like that. I'd like it to follow a logical line of consistency within time. So like ancient Romans developing into, you could choose to develop them into medieval Italians or maybe medieval Spain, I guess, or you could do like something medieval France, sure. Something like that, I suppose, would be good. But I mean, that's just me. We'll have to see.
Khmer Civ in the Antiquity Age. An Asian power that unlocks additional civs from the region for the Exploration Age. Himiko herself will unlock Meiji Japan.
One suggestion for the Civilization 7 developers is lower the freaking music. I can barely hear the girl.
And in the modern age. Or choose a different path all your own.
As we devour your cities with war, we will open the gates and let the hyenas break your bones. Man, she's not messing around, is she?
But whatever you build, remember to build something you believe in.
They always say that at the end of every build something you believe in. Sid Meier's Civilization 7 coming to PC and console February 11, 2025. Let me tell you this. I actually tried. I sent an email to them and I said, hey, I got a YouTube channel. Be nice to have a key if I could test it before release, because I see a lot of channels actually getting keys so that they can test the game, and I'm dying to play it. And I think you guys would love that. But for some reasons, they're not replying to my emails, and I don't know how to contact them because I don't usually do this. It kind of feels awkward to say, hey, look at me, I am an influencer, I'm a YouTuber, I've got subscribers, give me keys. I mean, no, I would pay for it. I would pay. It's not like that I want it free. I'd like to have it before February the 11th. But I mean, it's just 12 days, not 12 days. How many is it? 13 days, 14 days away. So I suppose I can wait. But yeah, Switch, yeah, you're right. Switch, yeah, I'm not playing it on Switch. I'm playing it on Steam. I'm absolutely playing this on Steam. But yeah, I mean, Himiko, first look, what do you guys think? What did you think of this? See if we can get some ideas. Switch, yeah, right, you say. It's gonna sound like another Mortal Kombat 1. That's what it sounds like to me. They're gonna pull another MK1. Yeah, it is very detailed, Vargas. All the little look at that. Plus, I love the sea. Look at and also now you use rivers for trade and movement. That's a new thing. No civilization ever allowed you to do that, I don't think, that I can remember. But yeah, look at all the details in every single one of these tiles, because these, at the end of the day, these are tiles that you can work. But I really like where they went with Civ 7. I'm so looking for that. I can't wait. The graphics looks pretty. Yeah, some people were complaining about the graphics. I haven't got a clue what they're on about. I think it looks great. I think it looks really good. Himiko must be an African leader. No, Japanese. Unless you were joking. Let's see. So Hagop says that video is not bad about the Celts. But that's good. How about we start it then? Let's get started. Let's jump right into it. Boom. Ancient Origins of the Celts, Ancient Civilizations documentary. I really have high expectations for this because it's a topic I love. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Max out the volume and let's go. Just double checking that I have everything, your chat in here, so I don't miss what you guys say. Let's go. Or not.
When the Celtic people are mentioned, we think of images of painted warriors and mysterious druids, and a defeated warlord knelt before the might of the Roman eagle. It might remind
Glory to Rome.
One of the rolling hills of Wales, the rugged highlands of Scotland, or the Moher cliffs of Ireland, where echoes of their ancient languages are still spoken today. Shared Celtic heritage is still dear to tens of millions of people worldwide. But who exactly were the ancient Celts? Welcome to our new series, covering a 1,500-year historical span of Europe's most enigmatic peoples. The sponsor of this video, Dungeon Fog.
You know what? This is really exciting. I like that he mentioned painted... Glory to Rome, Greg. I like that he mentioned painted people because I have a lot to say about the actual paints, the body paints that Celtic people used. But I want to see if they go dive into it before speaking.
Fog was kind enough to create Celtic-themed assets on its platform just for this video.
Ooh.
So what is Dungeon Fog? It's
Man, those look nice.
a free online map maker and authoring tool created by dedicated gamers of tabletop RPG.
Well, that's lovely. It's a cool sponsor, though. Let's go into the facts.
Clicking the link in the description. Don't forget that these ads support our channel and allow us to continue our work. For the most part, the ancient Celts left virtually no written records of their own existence, so we are reliant
That's correct.
almost solely on limited archaeological and etymological evidence to piece together their culture, while in the centuries leading up to the birth of Christ, a scattering of Greek and Roman writings give us a slightly more dynamic window into their society. Neither offer a complete survey of the Celtic world, but they provide us with a workable set of information that, in lieu of anything else, we have no choice but to rely on. The most popular narrative of the Celtic Genesis can be found in the town of Hallstatt.
Celtic Genesis. Okay, so I'm going to be a little pedantic. And, I mean, that's me. Allow me to be a little pedantic. That's why we're here anyways. Not an attack, but I'm saying Hallstatt, the place of salt, it's Proto-Celtic. Now, he did say Genesis. But if you want to talk about Celtic proper, then it's Latin. So Hallstatt is really, really Proto. Maybe he'll say it. He did say Genesis, so it's not an attack, just a clarification.
Which sits nestled against a lake between the idyllic peaks of the Alps.
The Alps, yeah.
It was here, between the years of 1846 and 1863, that an Austrian mine operator known as Johann Georg Ramsauer excavated the derelict cemetery of an ancient salt mining community. The material culture discovered here was named the Hallstatt culture after the town it was discovered in, and is widely considered to be the birthplace of an early Celtic society.
Okay, he did say early Celtic. It's just to be specific, it's Proto-Celtic.
The Hallstatt culture has since been broken up into 4 chronological phases, based on the evolution of artifacts found in its sites.
Yeah.
Hallstatt A and B emerged in the late Bronze Age between 1200 to 800 BC in Central Europe. It was initially a minor deviation of the Indo-European Urnfield complex, an older material culture prominent across much of Central Europe.
So far, the animations are fantastic. I love the map. I love the art style, and the information is really good. Did you notice that some of northern Italy is marked as Celtic? And that is absolutely correct. There are 2, I'm just looking at the chat at the same time. There are 2 specific places, Gola Secca and Canegrate, which are absolutely Celtic Iron Age cultures, a little later than this. But yeah, northern Italy was 100, because usually when we think of the Celts, you either think of the Brittonic Celts, including England, not just Wales, Ireland, Scotland, but England too. I mean, think of Cornwall. Then you think of the Iberian Celts, you think of course, Gauls, or France and all that. But in reality, northern Italy was absolutely Celtic. Absolutely Celtic. Dex Master cheeky statements. Oh no, I know it's Gaelic, absolutely. Goidelic, sorry. With Britons, I meant like the inhabitants of England, original inhabitants. Yeah, Gaelic in Scotland, you're correct, yeah. I think he'll go into the different languages, for sure. He will go into the different languages like Welsh and, you know, that kind of stuff.
Hallstatt's society was based on mining salt, copper and tin, and trading them to outlying regions. These were crucial products, for salt was used to preserve meat in winters, while copper and tin were used to forge bronze, the most
That is an interesting choice of color. He went for a reddish bronze in the animation here. I would have gone for a dull golden bronze, because it's an axe head. A little nitpick here, but I'm doing it in good faith. Okay, I'm doing it because it's a nice video up to this point. I'm really enjoying it. I'm just saying I would have chosen that color. I think is more representative of axe heads and spearheads and swords and armor of the period when it comes to bronze.
Precious metal of the era. The peoples of the Hallstatt heartland grew prosperous from this trade, which remained a core part of their economy for centuries to come. Around 800 BC, ironworking was introduced to the Hallstatt through trade with the Hittites and Greeks. This started the Hallstatt Sea era, where the Proto-Celts came into their own as a culture distinct from the Urnfield complex.
Yep.
They built hill forts throughout Central Europe, populating them with artisans and warriors, led by petty chieftains.
You know, it's really making me want to play one of those like old school civilization games like 3. Regardless, so I love the topic of the Celtic forts. I've been working on this for a while, and I'm producing a dedicated, very detailed video on the Oppida Oppidum, the fortified hill villages. Although then again, it's a lot deeper than you would think once you actually dive into the sources, and there is some misinformation about it. So I'm not going to comment too much on the Oppida because I'm going to make a dedicated video just to let you know that that's going to happen. I want to say this month, but probably beginning of February. Lovely.
It was at this point in the early Iron Age that they started developing a class system and social inequality, becoming more hierarchical. Graves excavated.
To be honest, social inequalities probably existed since the first tribe, because when you have a tribe leader and you have a warrior class and hunters, well, already the tribe leader, there is social inequality. I mean, I don't think it began here. I think it just exists in the way that it is what it is. But he's absolutely right in mentioning chieftain and warrior class, because it is a warring aristocracy in the Iron Age. There will be the typical warriors that are leading and ruling the early Celtic realities.
From the Hallstatt A and B eras were uniformly simple and egalitarian in nature. However, burials from Hallstatt C onwards show a great disparity in wealth and status. Clustered around their hill forts were great barrow mounds, the resting place of wealthy tribal elites. Here, nobles were buried alongside their
Yeah.
treasures such as collars, brooches, axe heads, and other metalworks of bronze, iron, and gold. These valuables oft featured iconic geometric designs and animalistic motifs. The presence of ivory and amber in these barrows suggests that they maintained
Yeah.
trade networks that extended as far out as the Baltics and North Africa.
Africa, yeah.
Equestrianism was likely a symbol of power and nobility during this era, evidenced by the presence of a distinct style of slender slashing sword present in many graves, best suited for cavalry warfare. Additionally, the highest tribal elites were buried alongside ceremonial bridles, tackles,
I hate the word ceremonial. I really like that artist, though, an animator.
and ornate horse-drawn cult wagons. The importance of the horse in aristocratic society was likely due to contact with the Indo-Iranian Cimmerians, from whom they adapted the horse and wagon as symbols of tribal power. It was perhaps through the mobility of the horse and their economic and cultural soft power that the Hallstatt peoples expanded out of their traditional heartland and exported their cultural influence across much of Central Europe.
You know, since we are looking at it's an interesting theory, where it came from, the idea of the wagon. But since we're looking at this, one can't help but thinking in a military context, the idea of war chariots. And what's interesting about war chariots is that they were used it's one of those elements that can show the difference between continental Celts and insular Celtic realities. I've already mentioned this in a few videos, but a while ago. It's possible that if you're a recent subscriber, you haven't seen that. But the continental Celts, like the Gauls, used to fight in the we have examples, mentions that they used to fight with war chariots, but then they abandoned them and they become obsolete. With that being said, Brittonic Gauls instead, in England, for instance, modern day England, they kept it. And that's probably because, and that's a pet opinion of mine, but islands tend to be more socially, culturally, and militarily conservative and linguistically conservative than continental realities that are more in contact with, for instance, in this case, the Gauls having to deal with Mediterranean powers all the time. So they had to change a lot of things because there is a pressure. But in islands, that's why Icelandic is probably closer to Old Norse. It's separated. That's why Sicilian and Sardinian have still got, in the case of Sardinian, but even Sicilian, both languages, Sardinian more, but have a lot of connection with classical Latin in terms of syntax, word structure, pronunciation, and that sort of stuff. And yeah, so I think that's why I think islands freeze cultures in time, whereas continental realities like the Gauls, they evolve due to pressures that islanders are not subject to. And so basically, if you were a Gaul from, a Celtic man from Gaul, and you traveled to Britannia, which they did, by the way, to study with the Druids over there, it must have felt like you went back hundreds of years. Because you would find an ancient reality frozen in time. It is fascinating stuff.
The transition from Hallstatt C to D occurred around 600 BC and was marked by
Respect for saying BC. He gained 10 points with me.
the culture shifting west along the Danube, Rhine and Seine rivers, gravitating towards the Greek colony of Massalia, modern Marseille. The Phocian Greeks of Massalia were the early Celts' gateway to the riches of the Mediterranean world. Through them they imported all sorts of southern luxuries, including fine pottery, glass, and the most precious luxury of all, wine. Late Hallstatt peoples
My dad would agree.
soon began trading with other Mediterranean peoples, including the Phoenicians and the Etruscans, whose advanced civilization we've covered in a previous episode.
I'll have to check
The
it out.
first historical mention of the Celts came in 517 BC from the Greek historian Hecataeus of Miletus, who referred to the people living beyond Massalia as Keltoi. This
Yep.
word was possibly borrowed from a tribal endonym, or was Greek for the tall ones, contributing to the enduring stereotype that the average Celt stood a head taller than their Greco-Roman counterparts.
Okay, let me comment on that. So I think it's the first. I do believe it's an endonym. For those of you who are not familiar, you've got endonyms and the opposite is exonyms. An endonym is a a term that refers to a place, a people, a language, and it's made by that very people. So it's how people call themselves, or how the residents of a specific area call that area. An exonym, on the other hand, is how foreign people, or people from a different culture or reality, call them. So I'll give you a modern example, and I'll give you a period example. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to put myself full screen since I'm speaking a little more on this one, expanding a bit. So an idea of a modern endonym would be the word Nihon for Japan, the word Nihongo for Japanese language, and the word Nihonjin for Japanese person. And because it's how the Japanese call themselves and their land and their language. But an exonym would be Japan, Japanese, and Japanese for the language. These are exonym because it's how other cultures, in this case Western cultures in connection to Portuguese, and the early explorers, European explorers, that's how they built it, because, through Chinese and all that stuff. In the period, we have a fantastic saying, and I don't get to use this one very often, so it's nice to say it. I'm also looking at the chat in the meantime. Let me see. Just want to make sure. Yeah, it's true, Heather. Unfortunately, sometimes in history we don't know what the people call themselves. That's absolutely true. But in this case, I think we know, because Julius Caesar says, open quotes, ipsorum lingua Celtae, nostra Galli appellantur. So if we take this Latin sentence, ipsorum lingua, so lingua means language, ipsorum, it's like their own. It can be translated, or actual is another way to translate. So in the actual language, or in their own language, ipsorum lingua Celtae. So in their own language, Celts. And then he says nostra, with omitting, because it's understood by context, language. So nostra meaning in ours, he's saying, in ours, Galli, so Gauls, appellantur. We call them, or we refer to them, or name them. So Julius Caesar, who had direct contact with Celtic populations, because that's how he writes the De Bello Gallico, so he has this war of invasion, meets the continental Celtic realities, and remember that Julius Caesar, went to Britain. He didn't manage to conquer it, you'll have to wait for Claudius, but he did go. So he's an eyewitness to both continental Celts and insular Celts. And he tells us that in their language they are Celts, Celtae. He's kind of Latinizing it because he's speaking and writing in Latin, but definitely it's clear that the stem is Celt something, probably just Celt, and then he makes the suffix to create a plural in Latin. So he says in their language it's Celtae, that's how they call themselves, but we call them Gauls, Galli, and Gallia with a long A when it comes to phonemic vowel length, when it comes to the area. But it's very likely that instead probably the term Gaul comes from a single tribe, and maybe the Romans extended that to all of them, at least in that area. When it comes to insular Celts, they do distinguish them, the Romans do distinguish them from the continental Celts, but it's important to underline that the Romans do not consider them separate, the ones in England, in Britain, from the ones in Caledonia, so Scotland. From a Roman perspective, because I know someone in the chat earlier on was saying that there is a difference, of course, between Gaelic, Scottish, Brittonic, Irish, absolutely. But from the perspective of a Roman, for the way they write, both not only Julius Caesar, which is the famous one, but to mention another one, Pomponius Mela, Roman geographer, they say, no, they're the same, they're all Celts. They do not distinguish. I do not believe it's because of ignorance. I do believe it's because they still weren't distinct enough, culturally, linguistically, and religiously, for the Romans to perceive them as different political entities. They will become different political entities, but you've got to wait until the 3rd century AD. If I'm not wrong. Right now it's a React video, so I didn't do a deep research for this one, but I'm saying in preparation, but I'm just saying for the Romans there was no difference. In fact, the only difference that the Romans mentioned, this is fascinating, between the Celts of southern Britain and the Celts of Scotland is the color of the hair. Because they say that the southern Celts of southern England were blonde, but the northern Celts of Scotland tended to be more redhead, and that's it, pretty much. Isn't that fascinating? Let me see the chat. Opinion on sellsword arts. I think he's cool. We interacted a couple of times. He was very extremely polite with me. Sounds like a cool guy. Sword guy. I'll check out. Someone is asking me, what do you think of Kings and Generals? Well, I'm reviewing a video of theirs right now. The video seems pretty good so far, but we'll see. I don't know. I have to watch more videos to have an idea. There you go. Asterix, blonde, Obelix, redhead. Yep. Have I ever played Fallout New Vegas? Have I played Fallout New Vegas? I think a little bit. Yeah, there is the Caesar Legion, isn't there? Caesar. Pretty cool. So anyways, yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to add to that. Let's return to the video and let's see. But so far, pretty nice.
Either way, it is a term that we still use today.
Yeah.
Late Hallstatt chieftains consolidated a great amount of power by virtue of the foreign wealth they controlled. The many small hill forts that dotted the landscape were largely replaced by fewer but larger population centres, such as the ruins of an impressive tribal complex at Hohenneberg in southern Germany. Meanwhile, the barrow mounds became more splendourous than ever before, inlaid with luxury imports from Greece and Etruria. By around 500 BC, the Hallstatt culture had reached its peak in wealth, territory and influence. But how can we be sure that the Hallstatt material complex represents the early development of a distinct Celtic culture?
Yeah, it does.
First of all, the swords found in late Hallstatt graves closely resemble the weaponry that Greco-Roman writers described the Celts using in later centuries.
True.
Secondly, the importance of the symbolic horse and wagon in burials was considered an early form of later Celtic funeral rites, which saw chieftains buried within two-wheeled war chariots. The geometric and animalistic art style of the late Hallstatt era is accepted to be an early form of Celtic artwork, and perhaps most importantly, the name Hallstatt itself is derived from an old Celtic word meaning salt place.
Yep.
This is reinforced by the fact that in the Celtic languages of Welsh, Cornish and Breton, the words for salt are Halwyn, Halloin and Hollain, presumably cognates of the same ancient root as...
Hey, so far, pretty good. I've got to say, they did a very good job. Someone was mentioning earlier on, yeah, that sal in Latin would be the base of salary, which does come from the word salt. That's absolutely correct. It's important, though, to not jump into then the myth that sometimes people push, that it's the idea that Roman legionaries were paid in salt. No, the Roman legionaries were paid with money. They were paid in parts they were getting, depending on the era, they would get armor, and then they pay for it with it's detracted from the whatever. But yeah, no, they were paid a stipend, but they were also getting an allowance of salt, just like they were getting an allowance of food, grain. Usually wheat, unless they were being punished, in which case wheat would be replaced with barley for their monthly allowance. But yeah, so it's not that salt is taking the place of money, it's that salt is valuable. And to a legionary, they can of course use it, as they were correctly saying, to avoid preserve meat as a preservative, but of course to use it to enhance flavor. Yeah, I mean, Americans know a thing or two about that. Goodness gracious, the amount of sodium that you guys add to food. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, salt was very valuable, even more so in classical antiquity than it is today, but it doesn't replace a stipend of a soldier. It's just part of their allowance.
The ancient word from which the name of the modern town of Hallstatt...
I'm sorry if I interrupted again, but I need to make sure I'm top right. Yes, I am top right, because sometimes I forget. Let me just... there we go. Let me move this out of the way so I can still see the chat correctly. Apologies for that. And let's go.
...is derived. The evidence all seems to suggest that the Hallstatt heartland was where the Celts emerged as a visible people group, featuring an early form of the Celtic language, tribal hierarchy, and artistic expression. However, this theory has its problems. Although by the late Hallstatt period, artifacts belonging to the culture would be found from Britain to Croatia, it did not mean that all the peoples in these lands were early Celts. Additionally, not all Celtic speakers in
of course, because you also have indigenous people.
The early Iron Age would have belonged to the Hallstatt culture. The early Celtic language that became associated with the Hallstatt heartland developed out of an older Indo-European tongue around 1500 BC, and over centuries spread across much of Central and Western Europe. People on the periphery of the early Celtic world adopted the Proto-Celtic tongue due to the cultural and economic influence of the Hallstatt elites,
Right.
but did not necessarily adopt the material culture. For example, Ireland and parts of Spain were predominantly Celtic-speaking by the 5th century BC, but the Celtic migrants there had mixed with the indigenous populations of those regions to form the Celtic.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, because often even when we talk about the migrations of the Angles, the Saxons, when they go to England, it's not like they completely replace and eradicate the people, like in the sense that they would butcher every single one of them. No, they mix. Sometimes they become a ruling elite. That's similar to what happened with the Normans after the Battle of 1066. They don't replace the Anglo-Saxons at that point. They rule over them as a ruling elite. The Normans, and that's what often happens, which is why, I mean, it does happen sometimes, so you have entire people's dislocation, and not dislocation, there is a word for it, I can't remember it, I don't remember the technical term, but it does happen sometimes, so you have a complete moving of a people, but it's very rare in history, as opposed to situations in which you have a new ruling class or a new ruling elite or an intermixing of realities. That is more often the case, which is one of those reasons why I strongly reject the idea of a 100% black Egypt, because the idea that then the Middle Eastern people arrived and removed every single one of them and replaced them completely, it just doesn't happen, not as often. It is much more likely that Egypt, and I will defend this until overwhelming evidence changes my mind, but I will defend this, it is far more likely that Egypt was a multi-ethnic reality, just like this Celtic reality that they are talking about here would have been multi-ethnic. And it's very likely that, but even more so with Egypt, because it's in the coasts of the Mediterranean. It's like everyone was there. See, look at us Sicilians. Absolutely, Sicilians are multi-ethnic. Are you joking? You get Sicilians that look like Middle Easterners, Sicilians that look like me, so kind of pale skin but black hair. You got Sicilians with blonde hair and blue eyes because of the Normans when they conquered. You've got Sicilians that look like Arabs. You've got Sicilians that look like they've got red hair and green eyes. It's absolutely multi-ethnic, and because it's the major island in the Mediterranean Sea, where Egypt is around the corner. Literally got Sicily, Libya, Egypt. So it's ridiculous to think that in Egypt there would have been any, unless we want to go all the way back to the first dynasty, but who the heck knows? It's 5,000 years ago. We don't have enough data to discuss details such like that, but for the majority, I think, of its most important periods, Egypt would have been absolutely multi-ethnic, which means there would have been black Egyptians, particularly in the Upper Egypt region. In the Delta, I think there would have been a higher degree of Egyptians. There would have been, if we would look at them now, they would look very similar to the way Egyptians look today. So Egyptians, there would be, what would you say? Like, I can't think of the term right now. Olive color. Well, people hate me for it. I know people hate me for it, and I will still say it because I don't care about backlash. If I believe in it, I will say it. Mind you, olive is for people to bother to, instead of saying stupid stuff like olive skin. Well, have you ever seen a human with the skin of an olive? Is a stupid, like with green skin, and which is a stupid number one answer. Stupid number two is, well, olives are black, so these are the two answers that I get from this. This is the level of whatever. Olive skin is a term in when we discuss a variety of skin tone, and it goes from a brown to a tanned skin tone. There are levels, which, so when you say olive skin, you're actually talking about, yeah, it's an umbrella term. And so from a brown, dark brown to light brown to kind of a very tanned skin, and that's what it is. And then when you go to later Egypt, so the times of Cleopatra, who was Greek, then you would have a lot of settlers from Greece, so Mediterranean skin tones at that point that are from, like, that we would call white today. So like modern Italians, modern Greeks, they would be, so not white in the Nordic sense, of course, because this is a stupid people force me to make obvious disclaimers, but whatever. White European or white Southern European skin tones would have absolutely been a thing during the Ptolemaic Egyptian dynasty, including settlements. But yeah, so it would have been mixed. Egypt was mixed. They can be mad at me as long as they want. If I get to 10 million subscribers, I will extend this notion to the millions of views. Watch me. Anyways, pretty good video so far. I like it. Yeah, olives are pretty diverse in color. Exactly. So it's a good representative for the Egyptians. It is very likely, Tambuako, that Cleopatra's bloodline would have been, well, I wouldn't say completely pure Greek, but you have to imagine the fact that they would intermarry a lot. Now, could there have been some situations in which they married outside, maybe with someone from Syria? Yes. Is it completely impossible that Cleopatra's dad married a native Egyptian? No. But then again, when you say native Egyptian, it can mean a variety of things, right? Because once again, as a push, it depends. But we don't know that. We don't know anything about her mother anyways. So it doesn't matter to speculate on stuff we don't know. What we do know is that the Ptolemaic dynasty intermarried to maintain bloodline purity. So it is more likely to think that they all looked alike and that they all looked Greek at that point. More probable, and it's probability that we are discussing. So yeah. Cool stuff.
Iberian and Gaelic cultures, which had little to no cultural continuity with the Hallstatt complex. Basically, there were those who followed the Hallstatt culture who were not Celtic-speaking, and Celtic-speaking peoples who were not of the Hallstatt culture. The prosperous world of the Hallstatt chieftains came to a sudden end around 450 BC, when the increasingly imperialistic Massalian Greeks decided to abandon their old trade connections to instead try and subjugate the Celts, while the Etruscans shifted their trade routes away from the Hallstatt heartland. As a result, Celtic power shifted to the north, evolving into Hallstatt's dynamic successor, the Laten. The Laten culture lasted from around 450 to 50 BC.
Laten culture is fascinating for the material culture and material goods, the swords, the helmets. I love Laten culture. In fact, I spent more time studying the Latin culture than the Hallstatt, just for a personal preference and personal bias, I'll be honest with you. But I did study the Hallstatt culture. I got a couple of videos on that too. Thank you, Greg, for the donation. You say a teacher at uni was refusing the Helvetii migration to Gaul, stating that Caesar never beat them and that what does he base this on? And then Helvetia was always independent, really. Due to this lack of integrity, I had to change my history class. Well, I understand that. Depends on how he presented it, I suppose, but... What is that currency they're asking? I think it's like Indonesian. If I remember correctly, Greg is from Switzerland but lives in Indonesia, Polynesia. Indonesian, yeah, there you go. Some people do mention ginger with Cleopatra, but we don't know about the validity of those claims. But anyways, whether she be ginger or whether she be a brunette, I think those are the probable things. Some Greeks were blonde though. So who knows?
And is the most iconic era of ancient Celtic history. Developing in 4 separate tribal centres, principally along the Moselle and Marne rivers, it soon expanded across much of Europe. By 300 BC, the Latin culture was dominant across Central Europe, France, Luxembourg, Belgium and Switzerland, and later would arrive in Britain, Western Spain and Ireland. Latin artwork was what the conventional mind considers quintessentially Celtic, featuring cauldrons, drinking vessels, weapons, shields, armor and jewelry.
Ooh, when it comes to that, I love the shield. I love the helmet that they chose. Shield directly from iconography, swords directly from material culture. The artist is phenomenal. One thing I want to say about these shields, do you notice that this is basically a scutum with it's a variation of the scutum, isn't it? And if you look at it as the center grip, so if we could turn this around, it would have a briefcase grip. What's interesting is that, and I made a dedicated video, unfortunately the algorithm decided that the video wasn't worth it, but I made a video, the origins of of shields, specifically focusing on the scutum. And what's interesting is that these most likely originated in Etruria, the original design with the Etruscans. And maybe it's even possible that the very first ones were wood and leather, or just leather. But more likely, I think it's leather-covered wood. And then it changed into wood with fabric, or wood still with leather, then the iron rim, then the spine, what is called a spina originally, which was wooden, with the boss also being wooden, swapped to iron and or bronze, depending. But it's very interesting that then these got adopted by the Celts, and then the Romans, of course, adopted them too. But and eventually you even have some adoption in with the Illyrians, which are over here. But yeah, so it does originate in Etruria. Yeah. And then they curve, but the Celts maintained the flat type, not the curved type, as far as I remember.
Characterized by stylistic spiral patterns. It is here we slowly transition from relying primarily on archaeological finds and into the written attestations of classical Greek and Roman authors, who, while often biased or misinformed, still give us a workable amount of information in piecing together the Celtic world, its language, politics, society, and religion. The general public may be familiar with the word Gaul, a term often used to refer to the Celts of the Latin world. This title comes from the old Germanic Velhas, meaning foreigner, which the Celts certainly would have been in the eyes of the ancient Germanic tribes. Meanwhile, when a young Roman republic encountered the Latin Celts across the Alps in northern Italy, they referred to them as Galli, which might have been the name of an individual tribe they applied to the entire ethno-cultural group.
Yeah, as I was saying, I agree.
We will use the words Gaul, Gallic, and Celtic interchangeably, but generally, this was not how the peoples in question referred to themselves.
Yeah.
Indeed, a common misconception is that there was ever a linguistically or culturally uniform nation of Gallic people.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's a cultural. It's a bit like when you say Romance languages. Like, it's similar because Italian, Italian, Spanish, Romanian, Portuguese, French. These are all Romance languages, but it's not like we are one Romance nation. And also we have differences in our culture, but you can also see some connections within our cultures. And so it's similar to that, if you really look at it. Greg says a significant find of Celtic 40 plus swords was discovered in Lake, oh wow, in Switzerland. Latin, which is considered the type site of the Latin culture. That's fantastic. I'll have to look at that. Really, Coke was fortified with French white wine, says Frederick. Seriously. Johnny's being a troll, so I'll ignore him. Let's see. And then on Twitch, Murph says, a Celtic art is beautiful. I absolutely agree. Absolutely. Oh yeah, the Wales also means foreigner. Absolutely. It's kind of funny. I think it is foreigner, yes. Yep. I agree, the B via Nator, and that's what academia says about Egypt. It is a conduit to Europe, the Mediterranean, the people of the sea, all the Mediterranean civilizations, the heart of Africa, the Middle East. Literally, it's even connected physically. It's connected physically to the Middle East. So, like, yeah. I love Charlemagne. I'll have to talk about him a bit more, Colin. It's a good topic idea. Diaspora, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay, so I don't want to watch the whole thing. I want to see if they have... So we are skipping society. We're skipping this section of Hallstatt at the end, even though they got a nice thing. I do want to see... There we go. That's the part about the painting in the grooming section. We'll finish by watching the grooming section because I'm interested to see what he says about the body paint, since I have some information on this because I'm preparing a video. And then we'll consider it the end of the react so that people can actually watch the original video and finish it up if you enjoyed what you saw, which I think you did because it's a good video.
Personal grooming was highly important to the Celts. For example, both sexes were said to meticulously and painfully pluck all their body hairs.
They did so in Rome as well.
Additionally, there is some truth to the stereotype of the thick Gallic moustache. Depicted often in both Celtic and Greco-Roman iconography,
It is, isn't it?
it was likely believed to be a sign of manhood and virility.
It is a sign of manhood.
Gallic warriors were also said to have washed their hair in a mixture of slaked lime and water,
the
which
spikes.
stiffened it into white spikes.
Yeah.
Tattoos and skin dyes were not practiced by continental Gauls, and were limited mainly to the ancient Britons, who according to Roman accounts, rendered a bluish dye from the Asatis tinctoria flower called woad, which when applied to their flesh was said to provide magic protection in battle. Often of cultural or spiritual significance.
Okay, so I got something to say here. All right. So let me hear, because there are a few things I disagree.
To the ancient Britons, who according
There you go, sorry.
spikes. Tattoos and skin dyes were not practiced by continental Gauls.
You can't make that statement. Kings and generals, you can't make that statement because we don't know that. They were not practiced at that time. If we're talking about period, specifically when we are in contact with the Britons and then we see that the Britons do it, then yes, at that time, in continental Gaul, so in continental Celtic reality, so in Gaul, yeah, nobody was doing it. But we don't know if they did in the past. I think it's a lot more probable, in fact, that the continental Gauls did practice tattooing and body painting, but then they abandoned it, but the people in Britannia kept it. I think it's similar to the chariots situation. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there are coins that absolutely show, I'll see if I can find one, but there are coins that show the little thing that you see, the little twist that you see in Brittonic realities. You find this coin in a continental Celtic or Gallic reality, and therefore and it's ancient. So to me, that points to a possible origin in the continent, but then it was forgotten, stopped, abandoned, rendered obsolete, changed, but they just preserved it in Britannia. I think it makes a lot more sense, and if I can find the coin, I'll actually look for it right now. Thank you, Strood, for the donation. Meta, I said back that I wanted to ask a controversial question in a live stream, so here goes nothing. Cathar Crusade equals G word, yay or nay? I have to look at it depends. So to answer this briefly, and then I get back to this, to answer this briefly, the G word that I cannot say, or they demonetize me most likely, it depends if you look at it from a legal international perspective, the actual definition, which has parameters, and then we need to look at the definition. So we have to have the parameters open on the left side when it comes to world rights, what's the word? Citizen right or human rights. There we go. And then we look at that, and then we look at what happened. We see the numbers, and then we can say, yes, it fits. I think it needs to fit at least 4 or 5 in order to be considered the G word. So if you mean it specifically, then the only way to answer is, once again, open the definition, count, and then I can tell you, no, sorry, it doesn't count, so it's not. Or, yes, it actually does. But then if you use the G word as a general term to mean a large population massacre, then yes. It depends how you're using the word. That would be the way I respond to that. Civil rights, yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of it. Today I don't have my words with me. Anyways, going back to this for a moment. So I do not think that they can make a statement like that. Let me see if I can show you the coin. In fact, I can show you the coin. I think I just remembered, or finally I do remember one thing. I just remembered where I can find the coin. So give me 1 second and I will find the coin for you. There we go.
Focus on war. And
there it is. All right, so let me see if I see the frame, because I talked about that coin. I did talk about that coin. Let me see if I can find it. Come on, where is the coin? Where is the coin? Give me the coin. I hope I can find the coin right now, or if I can't find it, I'll add it into the video when I edit it, but I know it's here. So I just need 1 moment. And let's see if we are lucky enough to get the lovely coin. All right. you could be like, why didn't you prepare the coin beforehand? Well, first I didn't know that they were gonna. Well, I expected that they would speak about the painting. So yes, you're absolutely right with your critique. I should have prepared the coin. Of course, I didn't, and I can't find it now. I'll have to add it in editing, guys. But at least it gives you a reason to, I suppose, to watch the stream again. I mean, when I make it, not watch the stream, but watch the actual video. I'm giving it one last chance to see if I find the freaking coin. Oh, maybe. Wait. Is it here? The coin? The coin, please. Please give me the coin. Can I have the coin, please? Nope, I can't find it. I know it's here, but I can't find it. Anyways, we'll find the coin. For now, I'll just ask you to believe me, but this coin absolutely exists, and it shows that exact type of tattoo, but it belongs to continental Celts. I will add it to the video once I edit it. For now, let's get back to where we were, because there is one more thing, a couple more things that I want to say.
And were limited mainly to the ancient Britons, who according to Roman accounts, rendered a bluish dye from the Asatis tinctoria flower called woad.
Yes, so the flower, it's correct. It's a flowering plant of the family Brassicaceae. It's also called glastrum, woad. The Romans call it vitrum. So he's correct when it comes to Isatis tinctoria, woad, as the plant used to make these. We don't know if this is actual paint or if they are tattoos. It is possible that it's both. It's one or the other, maybe both. They're both likely. Also because the term in Latin that they use when they talk about the act of this is the same that they use. It can also be translated as, gosh, what's the word? It can be translated, let me see if I can find the word. Dyeing. It's like when you permanently dye clothing. So at that point, it's like, but is it tattoos then if it's permanent and it has, because in Latin it can have that. So it's possible that these were tattoos, or maybe not. Maybe they were actual paints. When it comes to the color that is mentioned in blue, well, let's look at the actual word. So in Latin, this is either described in two ways. Both Mela and Caesar use the word caeruleum. Caeruleum can translate as dark blue, or the color of the sky and the sea. So a variety of blue. But there is another author that actually uses the term virdis, which means green. It's a little bit of a later author. It's Publius Ovidius. I'm looking at the chat again. But it does say virdis. So we have two options. It was either blue, or it was green, or maybe it was both. Or another possibility is that it was a color a little bit in between. You know, when blue and green, like aquamarina color, that's another possibility. But yeah, so great. I think, is there anything else he said about the paints?
Which when applied to their flesh was said to provide magic protection in battle.
Yeah, they also say that it made them horrible in battle. Horrible, maybe in the sense that they would be like, oh my gosh, who the heck are these? Maybe in that sense, the Romans, I think they meant
often of cultural or spiritual significance, jewelry was common among the upper class.
Yes, and then as you say, teal. Yeah, it's possible that it was a teal. Who knows? It's difficult to say, but that's what I wanted to add. Nice video. I enjoyed it. I only disagreed really with one point. So at the end of the day, this was pretty good. This is pretty good. I enjoyed it very much. So that was a nice surprise. Nice video, nice watch. So absolutely, if you want to watch the rest, you'll find a link in the description and pinned comment once I edit this and put it on YouTube as a regular video. Maybe add some information as well, which you know I will. And I want to say, nice one. Let me have a look at the chat a little bit. So, Gilded Poo, thank you for the donation. Long-time subs here. Simple History did a video called The Biggest Idiots in War. They bring us Quintilius Varus at 7.5 minute mark. Really? Well, I mean, I suppose he trusted his adopted son, if you want to call him an idiot for that. I guess. I mean, I can't really tell you you're wrong, technically. But yeah. We do have tattoos much further east in the steppes, yep. Cerulean or Cerulean in English, absolutely, yeah, same origin, etymology. I think more than a war paint, Carl, in this case is a religious paint that they also used in war, but I think they also used it during religious praying ceremony, and maybe special events. So it's not just a war paint. I think it's a little deeper than that, but it's also a war paint because they use it for war as well. Woad is well attested throughout history. Absolutely, Carl. Toss a coin to your Witcher, Metatron. I will, Dex. So I'm looking. Let's see. Evil says, honestly, they should subsidize him. Metatron is the epitome of appropriate educational discourse. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Let me see Twitch. How are we doing? On Twitch, so you said Teal, CF Tambuatko. You're correct. Yep, I think it's a good one. The color of the sky. It's possible that color of the sky is, of course, that gives us a lot of varieties of blue, even if we just want to focus on blue, considering depending on what time of day. And then again, sometimes the sky is orange, but not in this case, of course. Yeah. Nice, nice. Toss a coin to your Witcher. I doubt it was pink now. So yeah. I didn't hear a Grimsec of the museum robbery in the Netherlands. 2,400-year-old Dacian artifact were exhibited. Yeah, can you look at the topic? Goodness gracious. That's insane. Let me see. Oh, how did that happen? It's a catastrophic. Let me see. Oh no, they'll melt it? Look at this. Experts fear thieves will melt 2,400-year-old golden helmet. Oh, come on. Man, I hope they face the wrath of the gods. Thieves blow up museum door and steal ancient artifact. Goodness gracious, did they not have it? Well, I guess after closing hours. Let me see. A band of thieves, can you see me? Did I put myself top right? Yes, I did. A band of thieves blasted their way into a Dutch museum to steal 2,400-year-old golden helmet, with fears growing that they could melt the priceless artifact. Either that or they sell it in the deep web, like for just a lot of money. Maybe someone like for a private collector that just wants to purchase it illegally. I mean, at that point, I would prefer that option. My option is that they get caught and end up in jail. That's my favorite option. But if that's not an option, then I would rather they didn't melt it and it stays somewhere. And then maybe in a couple of generations, a good nephew says, no, you know what? I'm going to gift it to a museum. Am I right? The ancient Koto Fenesti helmet was stolen early Saturday by 4 crooks who blew open the doors to the Drenthe Museum in Assen, with grainy surveillance footage showing them making off with it and 3 other gold bracelets in mere minutes. Yet why would a museum with such an incredible art have grainy footage? I wonder why they don't have, like, I guess, better surveillance. I imagine it's easier to say in hindsight, but who am I to judge, really? I don't understand anything about surveillance, and now it's done. Greg, thank you for the donation. Are those paint color were staying in the skin long time? It's possible. Like, for example, henna that is used in Hindu and Muslim culture. Oh, yeah, it's very possible that it's an in-between. So not a tattoo, not just a regular paint, but a paint that remains. That's also a possibility, yeah. They even say, the Latin word, they even use a word to mean stain, the Romans. I forgot to say that. Yeah, I guess just robbing a jewelry store was too obvious, says the section, I guess. Yeah, because here you also have the value of, man, I really hope they don't melt it. Even the thought of it. What a disgrace. The ancient helmet is revered as one of Romania's national treasures. Romania. Which experts believe will make it impossible to find a buyer, meaning the crooks will only make money off the gold it is made from. No, you know what? I disagree with this, because at the end of the day, if you melt it, then its value, it's the weight in gold. and then it also depends on the type of gold, right? What the carats. But I think it would be just. But if you are the person who stole this, don't melt it. Don't be stupid. At the end of the day, I think it would be definitely more valuable in its current state because it maintains the value of. It's just gonna take a little longer, I guess, to place it in the black market, and hopefully they mess up. I do hope if you watch this and you stole this, I hope you end up in jail. But I'm just saying, I disagree. Did I say disagree? But yeah, I think private buyers would definitely, in the deep web, they buy anything. They bought anything. You know, the stuff they sell. For what I was seeing, sometimes I see Mutaha, some ordinary gamers showing what they do in the deep web. I would never do it. I would never try. I would never go. But yeah, for someone who knows what he's doing like him, it's interesting to see. Well, thank you, Nostalgic. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And absolutely, the world is full of half-truths, baked truths, fake truths, my truth. It's just let's remove anything from that you put in front of truth and just leave the truth. That's all that matters. But yeah. I hope they realize it's worth more. It's definitely worth more as a helmet. I don't think the person who New York Post, they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, but they do know how to place an ad right there. Oh, and that was it. Oh, no, here we go. It's simply unsellable. The whole world knows it. Dutch expert Arthur Brand said. So, well, no, they can sell it. Listen, okay, I'm just gonna do this. Listen, it's unsellable if you want to sell it for its actual value, which is invaluable. Yes, but if you melt it and you can make, let's say, the value in gold, you can make $20,000. But then you find someone who is willing to pay $100,000, it's still not covering the invaluable nature of the artifact, but it's money and it's more than just sell it for whatever amount you want at that point and find a Muppet who is willing to buy it. Right? And then let's just hope on their nephews, on their son and daughter. Don't melt the thing. Goodness gracious, just don't want to see him melted. Look at the, oh my gosh, the 3 solid gold bracelets were also nabbed with the artifact serving. Even my dogs are upset. You can hear them from downstairs. Are some of the most significant treasures of Romanian ancient. I really hope they catch them. I really hope they catch them. Yeah. You think it's already in the private collection of some dodgy millionaire? Maybe. Who knows? Yeah. I don't know why Jaha keeps spamming that stupid message, but I'm just gonna... Where is it? Put you in a timeout. There you go. Then if he comes back again, I'll just block him entirely from the channel. Let's continue. It is simply... Okay, so they likely went for the gold too. I almost dare not utter the words. Melted, he said. We'll see. The stolen Cotofenesti helmet and accompanying... Yeah, that does actually sound Romanian as a term. Accompanying bracelets were on display at the Dutch Museum for a 6-month stint. Oh, so it was... Oh, I see. With the heist leaving Romanian officials shaken, of course, at the apparent breach of trust over the museum's failure to secure such items of cultural significance. Oh, that makes it even worse. Man, it's a bit like once when I was in New York City, and every time we go to New York City with my wife, we always spend at least one afternoon in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's like a continuous, we always go there. And once I just walked in there and they just so happened to have the Dura Europos finding, the scutum, the only single scutum that they still have, that it's basically in fantastic shape. It was put together. I mean, it was crushed initially, and then they put it back together painstakingly, I may add. But you can see it's a complete Roman scutum. You can still see the painting. You can still see the rim that was, in this case, rawhide. And it just happened to be there because sometimes museums do this thing. They lend artifacts because there's going to be maybe a special display. But could you imagine, poor Romanian museum that did that, and then they must have known. And so they did that. But yeah, no, the surveillance should have been doubled. That's insane. That's terrible. Absolutely, Saint Sir Nicholas. No problem. I don't know, there was a guy who kept saying stupid stuff, so I just blocked them for now, Jaha, for 5 minutes. If they come back and do it again, they'll just be blocked permanently. Let's see. All right. Even in our most pessimistic dreams, we would not have believed it possible, said Ernest Obenlander. Wow, what a name. What are you? A Holy Roman Emperor, the director of Romania's National History Museum. Romanian Justice Minister Radu Marinescu said the heist was tantamount to a crime against our state. Well, yeah, calling on officials to treat the recovery of the artifact as an absolute priority. Absolutely should be an absolute priority, regardless of political stuff and state and this and that. It needs to be a priority because of its historical value. The princely helmet, which dates back to 450 BC, was first discovered by a child in a tiny Romanian village in 1927. I really hope this child got something for it. With the artifact initially used as a toy and chicken pot before officials were flagged about the historic finding. Really? Or could you imagine that child being able to put on his head a 2,400 years old helmet, golden helmet? Wow! Man, I wish I could do that. I would totally put it on my head in my head. Well, listen, I would wear gloves, okay? Maybe I would wear a head cover that is neutral. Although then again, it's gold. It's not going to do anything to it. So never mind that. I'm going to take it, I'll put it on my head, and then I would contact the authorities and said, hello, this is Metatron. I found an important artifact that I wish to, report, but I'm taking that and taking a picture for Instagram first. 100%. 100%. Eat my KFC from it. Oh no, I wouldn't do that. Experts say the helmet is a relic of an ancient Dacia civilization depicting several mythological creatures and a man holding a dagger and appearing to sacrifice a ram. Harry Tupan, the director of the Dutch Museum, described the robbery as a pitch-dark day after the explosion used in the heist left the building damaged. So they were so quick that the authorities couldn't react in time. Could you imagine that? This is a planned thing. Like, goodness gracious, who were these guys? Would you wear the helmet with sunglasses as well? Yeah, why not? Totally. Thug life. Let's see. I'm gonna turn off the light because it's starting to get on my head. Yeah. Maybe it was Lupin. Yeah, I think it was Lupin the Third. That's who it was. Yeah. And he was saying Romanian Day shows lands rich in gold. Yeah. Crazy. Investigators said the thieves blasted their way in at around 3:45 a.m. on Saturday with grainy security footage, catching 3 of the suspects looting the museum in a matter of minutes. Man, only 3. Well, at the end of the day, they only took the helmet and a few bracelets and ran, I imagine, as they were saying. Museum and city officials said that they were horrified to learn that thieves used explosives to blow open the doors to the museum. Well, I mean, you would have been horrified even if they lockpicked it in Skyrim way. Police were flagged about a suspicious car in the area 30 minutes later. And what about flagging the police for the freaking explosion rather than the suspicious car? 30 minutes later, with the vehicle found burnt to a crisp, suggesting the thieves were doing all they could to cover their tracks. Well, yeah, you can buy 50 cars after you sell it. Dutch police are currently investigating the heist, along with Interpol, the police organization that spans 196 member countries. Well, that is insane. Do we have another article that tells us more about this? Let me see. What the heck? Okay. Let me see. CNN. Ooh, look at that. That's a better picture. Thieves blow up museum door and steal ancient artifacts. The same thing. 2005. And oh, we gained 100 years on CNN. We gained 100 years. That's nice. Dates back to 450 BC. Oh, it's somewhere in the middle. That's why. 30 minutes. I know. Goodness gracious. Silenced explosive, maybe, but I mean, it's still explosive, and it blew up the doors. What door did they have? Just a wooden door? Well, at the end of the day, it's not a bank, it's a vault, so I guess Thieves stolen 4 ancient artifacts, including an approximately 2,400 years old gold helmet after using explosive, and we know that, in the Netherlands. And then he says the daring heist took place at the Rent Museum in Assen during the early hours of Saturday morning, according to Dutch police, who said they would receive the report. But you see, if you receive a report of an explosion now, so they did hear the explosion, because, I mean, 3:45 a.m., there's no way that didn't wake up literally the entire neighborhood. No way. 100%. It's really that hard to get good quality security cameras. Exactly, Murph. Why didn't they have like 4K security cameras? I mean, unless I'm saying something that makes no logical sense if you work the industry. I don't know. But it is something that as the public we ask. Like, why grainy footage? We're not in the 80s. I wish at this point that we were in the 80s. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
You want to come here?
No, because I can see you're really busy, so I'll just.
Oh, but you can.
See if you were hungry.
I'm not too hungry right now, but it's fine. I'm not too busy. We're just reading an article together.
Hi,
But my wife says hi.
I look like a founding father. So.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
She said she looks like a founding father, which means she curled her hair. That's an adorable way to say it. It could have been thermite explosive. They're quiet, maybe. Do you think the British Museum should give back the Elgin marbles? I'm not familiar with the Elgin marbles, to be honest, so I wouldn't know, Grace. Hi, wife. But yeah, crazy. Oh, maybe we have a video. Let's check it out. What video is it? If. Oh, yeah, well, wait, we're getting this. I don't know why. But, yeah, there we go. So there is footage. Wait. There is actual footage.
Artifacts, including an approximately 2,500
Yeah, that is grainy.
gold helmet. The heist took place at Drent's Museum in Assen during the early hours of the morning.
Sorry, I have to remove the sound because it's gonna get copy claimed otherwise because CNN. In fact, I'm gonna stop it. But that was okay. So there is footage, but yeah, you can't see anything. And that didn't look silent to me either, Murph. I agree. Oh, absolutely, the One Master. Thank you for being here. They filmed Bigfoot in better resolution. I agree, dissection. Oh, no. Look at this beauty. Oh, that would look great on my wife. Look at that. One of the 3 Dacian royal bracelets stolen during the heist. Police believe the suspect abandoned the vehicle, which had been stolen, had a stolen license plates, and fled in a different gateway car. So they can't, of course, they can't use the plates to identify the owner. In a press statement, well, they can, but it's not going to help them identify the actual robbers. In a press statement, they say, blah, 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 dark day, what a horrible thing. Do you think it would have been preventable? Maybe. Better security. I get night security. What about night security? Hold on a minute. Why didn't they have night security, armed night security? Give people jobs. Am I right? Put a couple of people with a firearm in there, or at least they can contact the local authorities. And I think this could have been prevented. I think, I mean, that's something that could be paid with government money. I wouldn't be mad if that was something that my tax-paying dollar was used to. Put some security, create jobs for people that are well... what's the word? Qualified for the job, and then with industry experience in the industry, ex-cops, whatever you want, and then put them in the important museums, particularly during events when you have something like this, and there you go. Museum in Europe has some issue with their finances. Yeah, we Europeans, we should stop paying our politicians so much. Then you would see that the issues would be solved at that point. It's where you get paid to sleep. Well, I mean, I guess you can have turns, but in general, I think it would be great if someone was there. This could have been prevented. But anyways, that was interesting. Let me see. One more, and then I'll call it a night. The one more thing that I wanted to review was to check out Screen Tested, because I like Castlevania and he has a video. So if you're not familiar... Screen Tested is the channel run by Tyrant, who is one of Shad's friends. And I really like him. I think he's really cool. He's basically Shad 2.0 because they dress very similarly, similar haircut. Well, he's got longer hair, similar beard. It's just a joke, of course. But he's got this is his second channel, I believe. And he does all of these like nerdy things that I really, really like. And I wanted to check out this one. So the title of the video is Vampire Cross Best at Throwing, ? Exclamation point. And this is from, of course, Castlevania. Good channel. Yeah, I agree, Greg. So let's see what he did with this, because the Vampire Cross is always something that I think is one of those things that is so cool. But would it work in any way in a real contest? Well, let's see. Oh, sorry. You're not getting audio. 1 second. And I like that he tests stuff, as the name suggests. Oh, that's a very good point, Jaremitis. Thank you for sharing that.
So even on a miss, it still hits.
Nice.
Should be a quote.
Hey, Tyrant.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Screen Tested. I am your host.
Man, look at that background. This guy should have 10 times my subscribe count. Look at that. Look at that. That is so nerd, and I love it because I'm a nerd. Very nice.
Tyrant, where we take things from movies, TV shows, pop culture, try to create them in the real world and test them one-to-one from the media that they come from. Now in today's episode we're going to be looking at a vampire slaying weapon from the Castlevania series, and that is the throwing cross. They also...
I appreciate that, Tyrant, but one moment, I need to vindicate my honor as a nerd, because check this out. How about that? Not done. Oops. Oh, I overextended it. There we go. How about that? My wife built it with Lego. Love it. That's nerd right there. Anyways, let's go.
I had one, I'm pretty sure, in the Vampire Survivors game. I really like that game. It's such a good game. I should play that game. Anyway, another vampire slaying weapon. I'm a big fan of like vampire and the dark fantasy genre.
Me too.
I like the weapons and stuff, so for me, I don't mind. This is another throwing glaive, throwing weapon, whatever. It's basically a cross. It's essentially a cross that's made out of some sort of metal that has some sharpened points, and you throw it. Pretty straightforward, both in terms of the build and the testing.
And it's pretty big. It's pretty big if you look at the way... I actually had a replica at one point, and I showed it during... I'll show you. Once we watch this, I'll show you the replica I had, although my replica was not... It's like was for LARP. It wasn't for... it was for cosplay. It wasn't for practical. Like, it wasn't metal and it wasn't sharp. His is definitely going to be...
So with all that out of the way...
Yeah.
Let's get started.
Let's go. Oh, he's actually making it. What a good... Of course he's making it. What were you thinking, number ones? And sharpening it. Nice. He's very crafty, isn't he? Like Shad. It's just Shad works more with wood, I believe. Now he is... Oh, look at that.
So here we have our Castlevania cross, our throwing cross.
That's amazing. I mean, it's significantly smaller than the one that we see in the game. But I mean, I could have never made anything even remotely close to that. So props to Tyrant. I am really looking forward to see how this works.
What do I think of it? Well, first off, I mean, for a vampire slaying weapon, I mean... The power of Christ compels you. Yeah. The power of Christ compels you. I mean,
it's double.
Yeah. I mean, you've turned a actual item that you would carry into a weapon. But
which pretty much what the sword is, isn't it? Because the sword is the cross to you, and the sword to your enemy. That's the idea. So if you turn it around, of course, when you're slaying your enemy, it's a cross. There is a symbolism there, and yeah.
How good is it at being thrown? Well, this is a simple question with a simple answer.
Yeah, Alexis says the aerodynamics should be interesting with this. I agree, but it could work. I mean, I think it shows a good size, Probably improved it, because if he made it the size of the one in the game, it might have been problematic. But the size he chose, it might work.
Throw it. Shouldn't be too difficult. I'm going to be throwing it right here. So
Okay.
let's try some different spaces, see how effective it is.
Yeah.
This is a rather close range throw. Let's see if it...
Ooh, that was pretty sleek. Did you see that?
Yep, that was the first throw, and that was not f***ing around.
Yeah. 2 out of 2, and it the first time it connected with the top spike, and the second time it connected with the side spike. That's something you could practice, by the way, to gain even more control over. But yeah, he did really well. Look, pretty clean.
I mean, they're really... I feel like today's episode is kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I feel like from this point on, you're just going to be watching me throw shit.
Once again, the same.
Yeah.
Hey, even from a distance, he's probably also a good shot. If I did that, I would probably miss.
That flies beautifully.
It does. Sir Nicholas says, solid for dealing with the undeads. Oh yeah, you want to keep those Muppets away, don't you?
That was gorgeous. Holy fuck. I like that.
Boom.
Okay, that one hit the branch.
I see. Got
That actually
deflected.
didn't hit the...
So basically someone parried it. An undead zombie parried it. Hey, you wouldn't expect that, but hey, the undead these days.
the trunk bit.
Nice.
I have no idea how well you guys are going to be able to see this flying through the air because it's you know, it's black and metal.
CF Tambuatko on Twitch called it a Catholic shuriken. It is a Catholic shuriken, isn't it? I mean, you can't get more. Amen, brother. That Muppet of an undead. Man, dip it in a little holy water and this is it.
Metal, but
GG, well
hopefully
played.
you can see something. Fuck, that one's in there. Whew. Perfect.
That's a perfect Catholic shuriken right there. Oh man, look at that.
Was a perfect one.
Interesting penetration. Oh.
That was cool.
This is actually performing a lot better than I thought. A Cathiken. Oh my gosh, the chat. Hatred says a Cathiken. That's what that is. Dante's Inferno. Good morning.
Check it out. The cross is still embedded.
Yep.
All right, let's try it as a...
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like, you need one per undead because it will get embedded. So let's say you've got like 10, 15, a mixture. Maybe you've got like a couple of skeletons with spears, and then you've got some zombies walking away. Zombies last because they're slow. And then maybe you have one vampire. Then I would say take on the vampire first, hit him with that thing, boom, and send him to hell with that. And then you need a few of these because you need to start throwing at the skeletons. You think it would work well on the skeletons? I don't know. It would break bones.
No, wait, hold on. I'm gonna throw it at Tony.
Tony.
I think that went around him. I'll check.
Tony, what's wrong there?
Spun around him. No good. Here, Tony, catch.
Ollie pinched me smalls. That's how Tony speaks.
So if we don't succeed at first,
Yeah.
we try again.
Try again.
I think my approach will be to throw it harder this time.
Right.
I'll throw it harder.
Yeah, let's apply the Swiss guard, bruv. Let's apply the Swiss guard with these.
That was pretty f***ing hard. and it still didn't go in. So far, Blade's glaive and the Krull glaive both were able to penetrate Tony. So far, the throwing crucifix has not been able to penetrate him. However, I feel as though this one has performed better overall. If you're enjoying today's episode, you should consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it.
This guy, my gosh, this guy is crafty even in the way. I need to see some of his sponsors, how he introduces the sponsors.
Sorry, Tony, I didn't mean that one, buddy. I'm going to attempt to throw this up and fucking nail it.
Careful with all those beep, you're gonna get a yellow dollar sign, mate.
This is stupid. I should do some melee, but I want to.
That's gonna take a few takes. Yeah,
Oh, shit.
that's gonna take a few takes.
Yeah. Can you see this? We went past this.
Oh yeah, for sure, Alexis. It could 100% work as a dagger. I would wrap it a bit better, like the one in the game. It's wrapped in the area where you need to hold it, and make sure you don't sharpen the inside of what basically becomes your cross guard. But yeah, you could use it as a very short dagger, I guess.
This camera, past this tree, but nailed this one.
Yeah, you almost reached the Shadowlands with that one. Be careful.
So even on a miss, it still hits. Should be a quote.
You can do it. You can do it. Did he do it? Oh, he did. It went through.
That wasn't as climactic as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a bit cooler.
Explosive.
Let's get to our final thoughts. I don't think there's too much left to cover with the throwing cross. So let's get to Tyrant's initial thoughts score, or tits for short. In terms of this one, I actually think that it's not bad. And the reason why is because not only is it a throwing weapon, I think we've demonstrated pretty reasonably that it is actually not a bad throwing weapon at all. But it's also still a functional item. First off, if this is for vampire hunting, right? It is still a cross. The power of Christ compels you, Tony. Got it.
Tony, vampire confirmed.
So it still is a functional cross. On top of that, I do think that it has some melee capabilities. For example,
Yeah, the lack of a pommel is going to be a problem, I was thinking now. Because, gosh, when you hit... Yeah, the lack of a pommel is going to... It's not going to be a great knife. It's going to be an improvised knife that... Yeah.
if I was to come down like this, I don't think you're going to be generating too much force in that
like
sort
he's
of
going
way.
like that.
However, using these parts of the cross as a guard, I should say, you can generate some force and use it like a little shiv.
That's going to hurt though.
You don't have too much length, but it's still perfectly reasonable to do that, and that doesn't feel too terrible at the end of the day.
I wonder how it feels on his wrist.
So, let's start off with one of the categories. First off, comfort. It's a bit nebulous because what's the comfort I'm assessing here? It's a
what's the expectation?
Weapon, you hold it and you throw it. For that, it's perfectly comfortable. 9 out of 10, no worries. I mean, it's a little thin. It could be a little bit more contoured, things like that.
Yeah, as I say, the one in the game would have been thicker.
But there's not really much to grade here. In terms of using it as a melee weapon, I mean, it's, again, you would want a little bit more thickness, a little bit more bulk, but that might screw with the aerodynamics. So for comfort, let's go 9. I got no problems with it at all. In terms of its wieldability, like 10 out of 10.
Really?
There's nothing wrong with the wieldability. This is what I like about it. It is a very low user error weapon, meaning any random person could pick this up and just throw it.
Yeah.
So let me grab that. Let me grab that back.
Be nice to test it with one of those zombie dummies that kind of simulate the human body, including epithelial human tissue, bones, organs, skin density, and see how much penetration you get with those throws. Because against the wood, the penetration wasn't significant; it was a little. But then again, that's wood. So unless you are fighting at Trent, how the heck are they pronounced? Unless you're fighting those, it would be interesting to see, because if the penetration is significant, then yeah, I mean, the Romans would have loved it.
Any person could just pick it up and throw it, and it will probably work.
Thank you so much, Johnny00. Appreciate that.
Next up is the design. I mean, 9 out of 10. You have a little bit extra length for the throw when it comes to this. As a throwing weapon, I actually don't mind the design at all, and the sticking in rate, the hit rate was pretty good.
It actually was impressive, the rate. Thank you, Greg, for the donation. As an ex-Swiss guard, 5 years working there, really, I agree this should be part of the gear. Fantastic. You must be tall then, aren't they tall? Yeah, I thought they were. Or maybe I'm getting confused with the cuirassiers, because I had a cousin in the cuirassiers, in the Italian corazzieri, and he's like 2 meters and 8 tall. And of course his name is Mario, if you were wondering. I should make a series cooking with Metatron. That could be fun, Hatred. Let's see. Wrap it in bacon. And that's why men invented grenade launchers, I guess. 180, there you go. Yeah, cool.
Having this little bit of extra length for a handle seems to actually really help. Having 3 almost equal, we'll call them that, points seems to really help as well. So the design is actually pretty good. The wieldability is pretty good. Let's get into the last and final category, and that is effectiveness.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a main weapon. Obviously, I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm gonna say it anyway, just in case. So this isn't like what you would carry around primarily.
I think I remember the one in the game can extend, so it kind of is his main weapon, but it doubles down because he has a chain and disconnects and becomes a little bit of a flail, if I remember correctly, right? I haven't seen the game in a while though, so I could be completely off. Be interesting if you'd be interested in doing a video on Italian and Sicilian grammar and the difference. Oh yeah, for the second channel, 100%. I'm gonna make a whole series on Sicilian. It's in the making. A last resort weapon, yeah, or like a distant weapon, like if you got them undead to take care of, you want to throw. Why not? Oh, sorry for the other super chats I missed. Let me read them. Will, unless I misheard, if the Celts didn't have a written language, how do we know their mythology? Also, I really love your channel. Well, thank you so much. We know because of what the Romans told us about it. It is true that they didn't write much. So I read that. So sorry for taking so long to read the super chat, by the way. I appreciate the support. I don't think I missed any other, but I'll double check. Mihovil, have you seen how they discovered a mid-3rd century skeleton of a Christian in Germany, which is the earliest trace of Christianity north of the Alps? I did not know about that, and I'm writing down, taking a note, because it's something interesting that we could have a look at one of these days. Thank you for that. Okay. Okay, I think I read all the super chats. Let me get back to live chat. Let me see Twitch. Metatron Chat does a video on throwing katanas like the Demon Slayer anime Shadiversity. You might like that. We'll probably react to that tomorrow, because today I'm going to finish with him. React tomorrow. Tomorrow we can do a little bit of this. Check out Shad's video. Why not? Okay, cool.
It was pretty good, man. For effectiveness, as a throwing weapon, 10 out of 10. I feel like I'm having an existential crisis here.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen the scores yet. I don't know what the score is yet. But I've got a feeling that this may be genuinely one of the highest things I've ever rated. And it's a fucking throwing weapon. But it's really good at it. Not only is it really good at it, it's pretty good at also doing other things.
Yeah, it's quite versatile.
Turns out this is a great design.
I don't think, though, to disagree with you a little bit, I think it's good at a few things, but it doesn't excel. Because it's a good throwing weapon, but a bow and arrow would be better, a crossbow would be better, in my opinion. Even a throwing knife, I think, would be better. But it is surprisingly good, but maybe it's because you are pretty good at throwing it. You're basically making it's like when you give someone who is really good at playing the violin and you give them a violin that is kind of mediocre, but it still sounds amazing. You know what I'm trying to convey? And as a hand-to-hand weapon, well, a rondella would work better than that. So I think it's impressive in the sense that it's not a bad weapon as we were probably expecting due to the fantasy design. It's pretty good. But I don't know if I would make it like super high when you compare it with other weapons that are either specialized in their fields or, you know, kind of. But it's pretty good though. Either way, you're going to get hurt if that thing gets thrown at you. Oh, absolutely. It is. It does have a certain degree of effectiveness, more than I expected, in fact. Beware says, I am sure whomever he attacks with that weapon will be crossed. Absolutely.
That gives us a final score. I don't want to say it out loud. It gives us a final 38. That gives us a final score of 38 out of 40 for a throwing weapon. Almost a perfect score. What the fuck? I am unhappy with this. I am unhappy with this result. But I think it's a fair one. So I think
So here is the very cool. All right, so very nice. I loved the video. Let's give him a like. I'm already subscribed. If you aren't, you totally should, because Stream Tested is awesome. One last thing before I finish the 4 hours stream today. My gosh, you know, a lot of streaming. I do want to show you one cringy thing. Metatron Castlevania, since it's appropriate. And this is a video of mine from 7 years ago, so it's really a long time ago, called Castlevania Halloween Special. And I dress up like the man, and I've got the cross, and it's a cringy video because I'm just basically a poser. That's all I do. I mean, you know, well, I do talk a little bit, and at first, like, this is me dressed as the Crow for some reasons. Look at that. No beard, of course. Man, I'm such a... Okay, anyways. And then... I was pretty nice, though, with the green screen. Look at that. But anyways, so we were into Castlevania, and so I dress up. And I pose around with the weapon. And after we cringe, we look at the weapon. Already with the long hair, look at that. Emotron, yeah. So the weapon, man, I look like... Okay, give me this one though. With shaved and with the long hair, I look like some kind of I don't know, the Metatron. There you go. We've got the Metatron here. So I also show the only thing I wanted to share is this with the weapon that I thought was pretty cool. So I'm showing the cross. I'm saying you can use it as a cross. You can, stick someone in the head, I suppose. But the cool part is, where is it? Yeah, there we go. This, you see, you can do this like in the game. The Metatron. You know, after the Metatron, what we need is that I open a OnlyFans. How about that? Considering the Metatron. Anyways, with that, we're gonna finish. No, actually, I'll give you one more joke since we are on about this. The joke already shared a few. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll give you one more joke because I think some of you didn't see it last time I said it. I said it, the OnlyFans. The next joke is, which Roman emperor never grew up? Which Roman emperor never grew up into adulthood? Do you know that? Which Roman emperor never grew up into adulthood? You know, Tiger Star? Well, let me say it. Constantine. He's a constant teen. With that, good night. Oh my gosh, that was great. I know what you're talking about. That was great. Anyways, unsubscribing for that joke. It's a dad joke. Thank you. So after Constantine, I'm going to... I'm just salt of the earth. It's laughing. Anyways, yeah. Good night, guys. I might come back later for some gaming because I want to play Daggerfall tonight, but I need to take a break first, maybe 3 hours break or something, and then I'll come back. Either that or tomorrow, we'll see. Thank you so much, Noble Ones. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and thank you for all the support and the generosity. Good night. Have a pizza, have some pasta. GG. That was a good dad joke, I agree. Good dad joke. See you Noble Ones. Bye. Have a good one. Da, 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 da.